Curtis DIY.
DIYers. Look at what the cat drug in. Look at what the cat drug in. I got I pay for them extra features on StreamYard type shit. You kind of getting. I'm just playing. They come with the standard one. What's up with y'all?
No, those pictures, you mad young in those pictures. You've been doing this forever.
Forever. I try not to look too much at those pictures because then it sets in. Like I'm pretty sure it's like Touré. I'm pretty sure it's like Googling yourself. Like you see all the errors of different like hairstyles of different, and you start to go back in your memory and say, "I've been doing this pretty much my entire life."
Well, Touré had the same hair his whole life, though.
Pretty much. I had dreads.
No,
I had dreads for like 10 years. I had a decade of dreads. Somehow from like going to college. Like most of my 20s, I had dreads.
Yeah. I had to make sure that I wasn't King Green trying to throw shots. Like I had the same hairline since I was in my teenage years. That would be crazy. That would actually be crazy.
Hair. He's throwing no hair shots.
I don't throw hair shots as a bald nigga. Like it's just not. It's in the bald handbook. When you get it, once you get bald, they be like, "Do not talk shit about nobody."
I feel like that's when life kind of starts over for some folks. They get that bald head and they say, "Come on to this side. Come on to this side." So the problem is
more people to go to that side, but it's not happening.
I'm definitely one of those. Don't hold on to it. Like I've been mad at LeBron since like 2013. It's like, yo, just cut your shit off, bro.
Nah, technology continues to advance, and my barber continues to get more tools that he wants to show. And I'm like, what is that? He like, oh, you never seen this before? He get the spraying, and I get the stain.
They make this
Green. Can you get closer to your mic?
Closer to my mic.
There we go. Yes. That sounds
it's not my mic. It's my little cousin streaming situation. Let me get it right.
It's all right. Show some respect.
You got time. No, let me introduce this for those who are like, this came up out of nowhere. It shouldn't have if you are already subscribed to the Rap Latte podcast and YouTube channel. I got that pinned at the top in the chat. DIYers, thank y'all for showing up here last minute. But we're having a discussion, debate maybe at some points about the art of taking an L, because a lot has happened and transpired over the last 24 hours. And this happens to be also, I'm not even being sarcastic yet. This all happens to be the anniversary of J. Cole's Port Antonio, which I documented a year ago was feeling like an open journal entry, like a publicly open journal entry in which he was discussing, man, I saw two of my comrades go at each other and I got blood on my hands, and Drake, everything's going to turn out fine for you. Just keep on showing them why you're you. And then here we are a year later, and there's many lessons to be learned. But I want to make sure
he showed us who he is.
He showed us a lot.
The situation is not over. Drake has appealed the dismissal of the lawsuit. So we are still in legal battle. He still believes this is a winnable fight. This is the most ridiculous. Those movies or TV shows where they're like, they found one soldier on an island in the Pacific and he still thinks it's World War II going on, even though it's 1976 and he's still ready to fight. And like, dude, you lost so long ago. This ended so long and you're still like, because you understand, Green and King, that the judge said, I am dismissing this with prejudice. Like, this is legally flawed. This makes no sense. This should not be in a court of law at all. And this nigga like, let's try again.
I don't know. I'm going to hedge my bets. Speaking of betting,
somebody else,
he's a betting man himself, so it doesn't surprise me. King, what was kind of your first initial reactions when seeing this? Were you surprised? I mean, I kind of feel like but all of us had this discussion in December of last year, and we kind of made the same predictions in different words of what was going to transpire. But for it to happen like this, specifically in October, I thought that was a great touch to everything.
Oh, his birthday, October's very own. This is what I make sure my audio is good. The chat let us know, but this was because I was on this moderate side with Drizzy around the time of December. And then when I say moderate, I mean, like, I thought he was, always corny and all that. But I was like, look, he just lost. Let him come back from the situation. Mm-hmm. Then the lawsuit comes. And I'm like, you are not like us. and then it continues with all the bullshit after. Every move he make, I was like, you know what? And like adding YouTubers, people that we know on into your whole situation just because we hating on you. You want to send out shots to us? That's when I was like, you know what? I'm with Curtis. I'm with Touré. I stand with my people. This nigga is a detriment to all existence in hip hop. And this made me laugh. I was like, the corniest nigga took another L. How you lose the black way and the white way?
How you get fired on your day off? Go ahead, Touré. I'm sorry.
Here's the thing, right? With Drake, because Drake talked about no new friends in the industry, but I think there's too many words in the sentence. It should be no friends in the industry, because when you are in litigation like this, you are in conversation with your lawyer. Look, I have sued rappers before for various things. We can talk about it offline. You're in conversation with your lawyer. Your lawyer is like, I think we can win this. We have a good case. I don't think we can win this. We don't have a good case. Whatever. A judge will most likely say this or that. So his attorneys are surely saying, this is probably not going to work out. We can fight this for you, but this is a difficult road to go. But still, the client is going, no, I want you to go do your thing. Push this. This is a wealthy man's temper tantrum. But the lawyer can tell you, like, you're probably not going to win this, but he is better for them to keep to do the thing, to make the billings, right. To make that. But the manager is on the clock regardless. Paid. And the manager's outcomes or needs is not the same as the lawyer. The manager should hear the lawyer saying this is probably not going to work out. And the worst of all outcomes is to do the suit and have it fail. Because now,
you think that's happening, though, Touré? Go ahead. I'm sorry. I don't want to cut you off. Do you think that's actually happening? Because I had that question too. I started to see theories of people on Twitter that were like, "Oh, those lawyers are getting ready to send their grandchildren's grandchildren through college off of the lawyer fees for this particular for all these. Of course, they're going to appeal." Do you think that they're instructing him that this is a long road upwards, or do you feel like they're telling him, "Man, let's just keep going, man. I know some laws."
I mean, I believe that his lawyers are probably telling him this is a long shot. I believe that the general code of ethics within the law, that you would be honest with your client. This is probably not going to work out. Now, if you want me to go forward with it, I will, because you are the ultimate boss. But I should advise you, this will probably be a difficult road, right? I believe the lawyer can and should say that much. But even if the lawyer is lying to you, a good manager would also ping another lawyer. Hey, can we just ask you a question? Like, what do you think about this? And that lawyer would surely say, that shit is nuts. You're never going to get that through anything. And then the manager would have to go, wait a minute. We are putting ourselves out here with this ridiculous lawsuit that will...
Drake's management situation, though? See, Drake had notoriously had like 15 managers. Okay. Like, that's not normal, Touré.
that like one main person. There's always like one
I want to go through his history of management to kind of understand why it would be a hard situation. And then he had to go through like some suits and some litigation type situation, not so much suits, but some type of contract stuff with the management because he had so many splits and so many hands in the pocket. And then it shaved it all down to basically his guys, right? In like a LeBron sort of way. At this point, his guys have the same perspective he does. His management team has the same perspective that he does. Is like, I want to make myself look like I didn't lose because someone didn't play within the rules of the game. That's his whole situation. And that's what the fan base is clinging on. They will cling on to that shit. Yeah. I don't think they're having this discussion that we're talking about where it's like, hey, maybe this doesn't look good. Because if you had that discussion, you wouldn't even fucking do this shit.
To have that discussion, though, you got to have the right optics. And I can tell there's not a whole lot of optics going on over there. One thing I wanted to ask you guys about in particular was there's a word that kept repeating itself all throughout the documents that were released, the 38-page documents by the judge, and why it was ultimately dismissed. And one thing that she kept saying is a reasonable listener,
Right.
a reasonable, viewer, a human being would see things, but there's a lot of unreasonable opinions and things that are flying out here. And even some of the reactions I'm seeing of people who don't understand, like, why could, for instance, I'll give you an example. This is the most ridiculous one to me. What do you mean Drake's lawyers wanted to address everything with Not Like Us in an exclusive manner that excluded TaylorMade and everything that led up to ultimately why we got to that point? Especially when TaylorMade seemed like, I mean, I was watching Jeremy Heck earlier say that might have been the final straw, is him saying with Tupac's voice, talk about how he likes young girls. That's a gift for me.
I mean, look, the lawyers clearly understood at that juncture what we need to do is to limit the conversation to Not Like Us, right? Because the judge says you can't view this in isolation. You have to view this in context of both of y'all. We're talking back and forth in an entertainment context. These are opinions. These are, you say some shit about me. She seems to understand, not seems to, she does understand the core of what rap battling is about. That's so
funny to think about.
She knows
the judge is like, hey, excuse me, Drake.
Like, y'all were dissing each other. You can't come to me now and be like, he said such a thing. Like, that's not actionable. Y'all were beefing. Y'all were yapping. Y'all were chirping at each other. Hyperbolic shit.
Let's stay
there. I was there.
Touré.
I was watching it all go down.
The judge is like, nigga, you lost. We all heard this shit. You lost. If you didn't say any shit, you shouldn't have battled that man. She understands hip hop so much to the fact that she's like, I'm not about to do this with you, Drake. Go back to Canada. This shit ain't about to work.
I think that was one of the most frustrating things. That's why I stopped going back and forth on my Twitter timeline with some of the OVO. I call them OVO MAGA fans. I stopped going back and forth with them because at some point it got common sense was what the question was. It wasn't a matter of opinion and who you're a fan of. It's like, I don't care whose names are involved. Common sense will tell you this doesn't make any sense at all. And I feel like that's one thing that the judge continuously made like the center of that conversation is like, right. Let's get these stand wars and all of these strong opinions out of the way, and let's just focus on, you can't, I compared this on you guys' show. I said, you can't get in a fight and say, I'm ready, I'm game for it, and then get punched squared in your face and say, oh, you hit too hard, I'm calling
you hit too hard.
I'm calling the police. And then there's a part that I had a problem with, King Green. I want to hit, you get punched in the face, call the police, stand behind them, and then still taunt the other guy and say, Iceman coming soon, Pinocchio. What are you doing? You can't do that.
he's behind the police officers talking about.
I mean, even
man,
if there's 15 managers, even if there's 1511 managers, 1500, somebody's got to be aware. No, this is not good for our image. No, this is not going in the right direction for our image. And maybe if you won the suit, then you can at least, make a point to the public of like, the judge said we were right. But to have it you didn't even get to first base. You got kicked out. You struck out in the box. You got TKO'd in the first 30 seconds of the fight. You didn't even really lodge a fight. Like, you got dogged. And that's embarrassing.
I was asking, I'm like, was it really a fight? Because I named this the art of taking an L, which he had 525 days ago was when Not Like Us dropped. Don't ask me how I know that stat. Just ask ChatGPT.
Why do you know that?
525 days ago, that song dropped, and he had a decision to make. He had a whole lot of months to make some decisions that could have took accountability, that could have said, you know what, let me take a step back. I took a massive L that could change my entire brand's perception in the eyes of a lot of people. Maybe I should do some searching. But instead, he continuously showed up. And anytime it felt like, in my opinion, anytime hip hop had a moment, whether it was the clips, whether it was albums that were being the center of the focus, whether it was artists who would typically be collaborators of his that were, I guess for their scale, flopping, if you want to call it that, he would show up with the most weirdest things. Hey guys, I got a sweater with bullet holes in it. You want to see it? Hey, I covered up a tattoo. You want to see it? It was LeBron. Like
let's talk about that right quick, about the Iceman thing and all that type of shit. If you keep on doing this thing and management or anyone having any say, nobody's telling him anything that's outside of what he already believes and feels like. Because he's just like Trump or MAGA or Kanye West, whereas his thoughts and desires for who he wants to be is the only thing that matters. The reality of who he is doesn't matter because he wants to be perceived a certain way, is going to focus everybody on how he should be perceived and what the narrative should be. That's what all three of those guys do, right? And there's no way in hell the people that came up with his David Lynch movie ass Pinocchio shit, the weirdest little live stream things I've ever seen in my life. They came up with these things, and he's coming up with these things by himself, one, and having an idea like, oh no, Kendrick did win. You don't come up with this crazy, stupid shit if you really, truly think Kendrick won. It doesn't matter if Kendrick won, because you need to make it seem like you won. That's what I'm saying. So no one's telling him anything different other than how do we look good in this situation?
The lawsuit is worse than the battle. You lost the battle pretty much as badly as anyone has ever lost a battle. And yet this made it, this has made it exponentially worse. You could have survived the battle. Remember, we respect a man who gets beat up and brushes himself off and keeps going. Like
do we though? When I think about Ja Rule, do we?
Well, Ja Rule's problem is that he's a bitch, right? It's not
what? Why did Ja Rule get that shot?
Justice for Ja Rule. What? That came out of nowhere.
R&B singing hybrid fucking they don't give a fuck about Ja Rule.
Touré got a real issue with
but
R&B
look,
niggas.
But Ja gave him a whole album full of diss songs. He gave him 8-10 different songs. He gave 50 Cent all them songs on the album. He kept rapping. He didn't do a lawsuit.
You can take a punch to the chin and fall down, get up and be like, okay, he took a L. Everybody loses sometimes. And he kept going. And like, all right, I respect that you kept going. You kept, but now this reminds us of it. It pushes it in his face, and it's him complaining that the game is rigged against him, which none of us think the game is rigged against him. If anything, we think the exact opposite. So this wealthy man's temper tantrum, this white man's response to being in a black situation, right? This bullshit lawsuit is far worse for his image than whatever happened when they were going back and forth.
Yeah, and that was by choice. Like he had an opportunity to say, okay, wave my white flag, but even the white flag still was passive aggressive, because in the actual Hard Part 6, his version of it, he's talking about, yeah, I guess that last song was kind of a bop, and maybe I would like it. Maybe I'd dance to it if it wasn't full of lies. After you sat here and said, let me quote this, we planned for a week and fed you the information. That has aged like McDonald's
milk.
Fries.
Like milk?
Like worse. Whatever's worse than that. Whatever still has a smell in you. It's like them fries that fall to the bottom of the car. And you're like, what is that smell? That's In-N-Out fries. They have aged like that. That's what I'm looking at, because there's so many different narratives that were pushed out there that were attached to names. Remember, we had the conversation in December. I was like, there's a better case for defamation on towards him, because he was naming names. He was using actual government names. He wasn't even using it. He was saying this person was domestically abused. He was saying this person is the father of someone's son. He was just getting into specifics, and then this thing all plays out. And he continued this. He did probably better promotion in the last few months for Not Like Us than UMG did.
I mean,
Not Like Us is about to be number one again next week. Does Kendrick got a show tonight? Because I need to see the footage. Say Drake.
No. He just ended his South America stretch of the tour, which means he got time and opportunity in October to ruin your birthday month. I would be terrified. And you just got your case dismissed? Because I theorize, what if that's the reason why we haven't got more music videos from GNX? Or one of the reasons. Obviously, he's on tour. There's other things that are, more business.
Luther was a monster. I think we didn't get videos because the nigga was winning too much. Like when you're winning that much, you got to slow down and collect all the wins. You can't start moving on to another video. Luther has like 3 billion plays. Like let that breathe. So
no, I'm saying because there's certain songs that could be interpreted as, for instance, everything getting spooky in October. Could that be something that their thirsty ass, talking about Drake's legal team, pulls into the lawsuit and say, look, they're continuously doing it?
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's why we didn't get a Hey Now video, or we didn't get a Peekaboo video. Songs that obviously, as we get closer to the Grammys, people are going to get, reminders of if we get a visual. I'm wondering. All I know is that if I tried to rap against you, I failed miserably. I tried to sue you, I failed miserably. What do I do?
Well, I'm still suing you because I appealed, and I'm going to take another L. I have an endless appetite for L's. I have a gigantic image. I don't care if I destroy it, like whatever it takes. So I'm going to take more L's. I've been saying that the answer for Drake is new music, hot new records, dancey, clubby, high energy. I don't mean like high BPM, but like a fun record that's not like going to Kendrick. That's not like in his lane of like serious hip hop. I'm a rapper. Like make it like One Dance, right? Something fun, right? What was it? In My Feelings, or like some fun
that, Touré.
Rock at the clubs, and then we're like, oh yeah, I remember why I liked you.
There he is. That's the guy I liked.
Touré, he tried that
40 times.
He tried that a bunch of times. He ain't got it. He's trying. He doesn't have it. No writers to help him.
He doesn't have the records to do that. I don't know why, because it's not like it's just coming from him. So if that guy you tell me there's not a producer in the fucking country who could make a hit on Drake right now?
But wait, Touré, I'm thinking about this. He's obviously somebody that has a heightened sense of paranoia of who to trust, especially when the only person we believe that was leaking information was his side, because the fact that Phantom Matters dropped, you got a whole music video. And then 30 minutes later, before DiGiorno Pizza is ready, here comes Meet the Grams as a direct rebuttal to that, a full song. Obviously, somebody then gave some information. I'm looking at that. Who can you trust if you can't even trust your inner circle? You said he had 15 managers. Who do you even trust that you can get in the studio with? Even a younger producer, because even remember the song he did, what was the song with the synthesizers and all of this stuff? I call it the sassy synthesizers. The one he did a music video for.
Nokia. That was a hit, by the way.
The sassy synthesizers.
Look, the problem with Nokia is that, remember the video came out where the fans found that the producer of that actually already had that hook already, like they recorded that as a reference. You can't even trust people to not leak the reference.
Oh yeah, no, his references are gonna get leaked. I don't know why you care if you're Drake at that point, but what I want to say is like he's been trying to do that. There's no way, Touré, Drake could do anything to make you like him. Let's just be real. So you should stop saying
no. There's at least 5 Drake records
from the past.
Yeah, but I mean,
now if he drops something that's hot, I know for sure you're gonna be like, nah.
No. If he drops I like certain Drake records, even though I dislike him. My dislike to him goes back to album 1, right? I am not late to this game, right? I've been on the Drake hate since he's been releasing albums, right? So I mean, there were records that hit me that I was like, damn, I can't stand this nigga. But that One Dance is fucking hot.
Yeah.
That fucking Nice for What? That is hot. I can't front on In My Feelings, right? Or is it what I'm saying?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. That record. That record is fucking hot. It was on
Sicko Mode is undeniable.
Okay. But I mean, like, could he make something that hits even me? Yes, he's that, like, his ability to make pop songs, or at least in the past. Because maybe
That's
whatever. Because maybe when he went down to the crossroads and sold his soul, that only went till 2007. He didn't read the fine print.
He hit the sinners. He did the
He
sinners.
didn't renew his lease.
You know what I mean? If anybody's Robert Johnson, is that corny motherfucker. And but the time is up. You only had 7 years of it. Now it's over.
Well, let me ask you this: how much of how you receive that work, those kind of records that you said were like, okay, those are different. I actually like those records by you. How much of that had to do with, I guess, your perception of his image and brand at that point in time? Because now you're talking very specifically about him as this bitter multimillionaire who will not let a lawsuit go, and he will not take an L, and all these specifics now make it like, do I believe you making this happy ass song when you look absolutely miserable for the last 525 days?
Like Nokia doesn't resonate with me because keep calling my phone. I'm like, that doesn't even make sense to where you are in your life right now, bro. When I need to know what you really feel as a 40-year-old, because I think it's 39, 40, as a 40-year-old man that can't really connect with people or get real relationships, and you're looking for women to fill a void that you have, because that's clear. I see it. You gamble, you freaking drink, you have a void, and then you display it as a positive, like a flex. At this point, it's not a flex. When you're young, I can understand you might actually think that's a flex. But if you're 40 and you think that's a flex, I know you don't think it's a flex. You just ain't got anything else, and you don't trust anybody. I like that song. I want to hear that song. Keep calling my phone. Doesn't say anything. Doesn't do anything for me.
Why did you hit that note so perfect? What is the auto tune at on your vocal?
Hit that right here. But the point of what I'm trying to say is, like, that's why you could tell that it's someone else giving him that music, and it doesn't connect him with the song. I mean, it was a hit though. People like it.
You make an interesting point, like challenging me on, like, I don't think you could actually like a record.
Yeah.
I think it's different, but the larger point is that we are supposed to like these individuals, and thus we are more accepting of what they are trying to do as artists. But they are trying to make us like them with the clothes they wear, with the people they date, with the places look, I saw him courtside at the Laker game. That's what cool people do. I saw him jump in on Saturday Night Live. That's what cool, or whatever club. That's what cool people. He drives what car? Oh shit. And then his record comes out and you're like, okay, I'll fuck with you because you got $100,000 of jewelry and you got freaking Melissa Ford as your girlfriend, and like you live in a mansion, and like, all right, you must be cool. Nothing that Drake is doing, in far as he's wealth flex like crazy, but nothing he's doing is making at least me personally think, oh, this guy is cool. I think he's corny as fuck. I think if I saw him and we hung out, I would be like, this nigga's corny as fuck. Like, can I get out of here?
You're right.
I want to go home. I go home.
The lawsuit continues to destroy our understanding of who he is, right? Or at least it creates our understanding of who he is, which is not what he wants. So, yes, the image, I mean, the personality that he's putting out into the world, there's nothing cool about it. You don't hang out with cool people. We don't see you in cool places. You don't dress in a way that I'm like, oh, he's chill. And maybe you were ticking those notes 10 years ago, but not now. So there's, and I'm understanding
cool
the
because
game.
of the music too, though. Drake was in a very interesting place, whereas he came in because the music was good. We had to accept him, right? And then his music was, and then he was around other people that we thought were credible. So therefore, you get credit by being around people that are credible.
Wayne is a big part of that, because
Wayne is everything.
I don't think he can take it serious as a solo act with his own team. If Wayne don't say no, he's good, while he was boiling hot himself.
Boiling hot too. We're talking about his height.
I mean, yeah.
Wayne's the only rapper at his height other than 50 Cent to put other people on, almost ahead of him. That's crazy. Wayne was crazy. Then J. Cole tried and did pretty good too. But anyway, either way, the point of what I was saying about Drake is that can you hear me? Are we good?
I can't. Your mic is in the shot, so the mic is in focus, and you're a little out of focus.
Oh, let me.
The camera's picking up the mic. Was picking up.
There we go. Wait. Is it still
right?
doing
It's
it?
sharper now, right?
What the hell is this thing doing? No.
Yes, now you. Yes, I believe you're
You
sharp.
said that's your cousin. You said that's your cousin stream setup. He
Yeah.
like, get it together.
You're messing it up.
Or you can see the places where you didn't shave on your chin. Like now we can see.
Yeah, you in 8K right now.
Oh, that's good.
But
I want to be in 8K. But anyways, is it doing it again? Because I'm also trying to make sure.
No, you're in.
It's my little cousin's streaming setup. I got to figure it out. Unks and that over here. So what was I at? What was I saying? Drake.
He's not cool.
He's not cool, and he got a little bit cool off the people around him, and then tried to assimilate into that space of that Jay-Z coolness, the forever coolness, and that doesn't work. And now that you lost that, and you're trying to make music like, yo, I've been that guy. It's like, you're not that guy. Like, people don't dress like you. Only thing that people did like you was make music like you, and you even lost that. So now what?
If you're 39, 40, and you are this famous rapper, and a lot of your music is about love and sex and relationships, you got to be in a relationship.
It's not about love, though. It ain't about love.
Well, it's fine. I mean, like, as going
power
into it, he's not. But he is talking about relationships, right? That is his thing. Not like, I don't care if Malice or Pusha have a girlfriend or wife, and I know that they're married, but I don't care. Because that's not what they're not talking about themselves now. They're talking about who they were in the streets. Drake is constantly talking about relationships, right? And women. At 39, 40, you got to have somebody with you. As far as we know, there have been no serious, significant relationships. That's fucking weird for a 39, 40-year-old to be moving around like that. So
I wouldn't say that. That seems a little, but that blanket statement sounds wild that you're 39, you better be married or in a relationship. You can be whatever you want.
I'm not saying every 39, 40-year-old needs to. I'm saying that Drake moving through the world, talking about relationships all the time, this is clearly a focus in his mind. And you're not in one, and you're showing, I proposed to 21 different people. That's pathetic. If 7 people said no to marrying Drake, that's fucking pathetic. If I'm management, we already have arranged a Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman type girlfriend situation. Some hot, famous black woman who's gonna rock with you for 6 months or 12 months or some shit, just to be like, look, I'm booed up with somebody awesome, right? Because like this, remember the scene in Departed when Alec Baldwin is explaining to Matt Damon why it's good to be married. Everyone thinks that your works. Somebody likes you. You can't be that bad of a guy if this nice chick is like, I rock with him. I'll stand beside him in life. If nobody is willing to stand beside you in life at 40, when you're a billionaire and you're famous and apparently he's good looking, what's the problem?
What to both of your points? I think you brought something else up, King Green. Both of y'all did, but if he saw himself as sort of along the same trajectory as a Jay-Z, something Jay-Z did that I have not seen Drake do even at 39 is at one point he pivoted and started to talk to the age group that has grown up with him. It seems like every project he's trying to find, and this is a good thing. Like, I'm giving him props for this aspect of it, is that he'll find a younger artist and he'll collaborate with them and absorb their powers. He'll collaborate with them.
Absorb their powers.
I'm sorry, that slipped out. He'll collaborate with them, and then
I'm here for Jay-Z hate. What are we doing?
No. I didn't say Jay-Z. I said Drake. Yeah. No. I'm saying
the Jay-Z analogy. Okay.
I'm saying if he wanted to go the Jay-Z route, Jay-Z at some point said, "Oh, we're not on throwback jerseys. We're in button-ups now." Like, he's giving you a clear sign that we're maturing. We're going in this direction. I'm in my entrepreneurial bag. Like, we're not going to get a 444 from Drake. That's not coming down the hallway. That's not coming out the tunnel.
We're going to get a 666.
Jay-Z is a...
Wait a minute.
That was good. That was a bar. That was quick. That was good. I was gonna fucks with that. Jay-Z is a social leader that he's like, I'm in the crew, but I'm gonna be like, now we're wearing button-ups. Now we're going to Nobu. Now we're, doing Warhol on the walls, like doing, Prince is lame, right? He's constantly telling you, like, let's move forward. Fuck auto-tune, right? Like, he's like, Drake is not a leader. He is trying to figure out what does the group want, synthesize that, and give it back to you.
Big point. Even though Jay-Z, and this is why Jay-Z's a leader, even when some of the shit he said and did was lame, he was still going in a different direction. Like Magna Carta is a lame ass album, but he committed to it.
Wait a minute.
Shit was lame.
Wait a minute. Let's relax here. Let's
you
relax.
Like Magna Carta? Like, let's not get into this.
The
Picasso baby. Like, you like that?
Okay, relax. You have to take that line and be the one I got to defend. Why you didn't defend that one first?
Hold on.
It has some moments on it. It has some moments on it.
I'm pretty. Of course, there's some moments. It's Jay-Z, but like, I'm almost certain I'm the biggest Jay-Z fan here, and the Jay-Z.
I don't even think so.
Especially, I don't know. Maybe
you're the biggest hate Jay-Z stan. But I am
all
I'm a huge fan of Jay-Z.
All right.
That's why we love Rap Latte. Here we go.
Anyways.
especially later career, like the last half or last third of the career, he's on off. He's hot album, whack album, hot album, whack album. Like that's just how he's been the last like 10 years or more. I got to go 15 because he hasn't released an album in like 6-7 years. I think he retired on the low. If he drops another album this year, I'd be happy. But I think he retired and just didn't say anything.
I love for him. I hope Clips got everybody
on off for a while of like good album, shit album, good album, shit. Look at that.
Look, Dime a Dozen. Shout out Dime a Dozen. I don't pop Molly. I rock Tom Ford. No, you know what Drake Keisha did instead? He said, "Are y'all popping Molly still? No, you doing perks? I can do those too. Where can I? Hey, where do? Hey, high schoolers, where can I find the marijuana?" That's who he became. He literally became the undercover cop at the high school.
21 Jump Street.
Hey kids, what's up, Kai? You guys hang out at the Barnes and the Dave and Buster's? Where you guys at? Let me buy that out for you. What are you kicking it with Aiden Ross for at 39?
Right.
So many people you could rock with. I don't think it's even his age because you got Kevin Hart with Kai Cenat, right?
Kevin is married with children. He talks about that stuff. We know
this is what I'm trying to say. It's about him trying to assimilate and look like a peer to Aiden Ross, not him being like, yo, I'm your big bro. He comes into the stream and it's like, yo, yeah, man, yeah, that shit is lit. Oh, yeah, that shit is, I'm just like you. No, nigga.
I control like you guys too. I control.
Yeah, I can say what you guys are saying now. I want to do that. And then when he gets with the white girl, whatever her name is, I forgot her name. He acts like her. He acts like whoever he's around. I hate people like that. Like just personally, those people are liars. Those people. Anyone who acts like the person around them is literally a habitual liar.
See, like people look at Beyonce continued late career success, and they're like, who is the stylist? Who is the manager? Who is giving her these ideas? Who is helping? But she does a shit ton of work to keep the Beyonce machine going, right? And like you see Drake, similar level of stature as far as in the pop music world as Beyonce, millions or billions of dollars, right? You would think if Beyonce has helpers helping her, where's Drake's team? Drake's team should be able to, hey, here's a hot track, here's a hot reference vocal, here's the outfit, here's, Dennis Villeneuve shoot the video, or we got Quentin Tarantino to shoot the video. Let's go.
He has that, Touré. Here's the difference. He has that, Touré. Yeah. You're talking about the difference between that scenario. Beyonce has taste.
Yeah.
So when she has a team of a stylist, she has an art director, a creative director, a filmographer. All those people come to give her ideas. Since she knows herself and knows her taste and her mission, she puts it and applies the new thing to her mission and her taste.
Yeah.
This nigga doesn't have taste.
Does he listen? That's another question. Does he listen to the people that might be in this
back to that too? Clearly, he doesn't listen because surely lawyers told him this is going to be very hard to pull off. And he said, I don't care. I want to do it. And I bet a manager was like, are you sure? Because this is not necessarily the best idea. And he's like, no, this is what I want. So no, He is the sort of client who doesn't listen, which is a nightmare client for these sort of people.
Is it, or if he keeps paying? Is it a nightmare if he keeps paying?
I think. Well, I think. Yeah, I mean, like, you want the client to pay for sure. We're talking about when you get these whale clients as a lawyer or whatever profession, service profession. But you know, as a lawyer, like I charge let's say I charge $1,000 an hour. It doesn't matter if I'm rocking with King Green or Curtis or whoever. I'm getting $1,000 an hour, and I'm sure whatever attorney Drake is rocking with, he or she is busy from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. They like if it's not Drake, somebody else will take those hours, right? So I'm not like, oh, I was broke and then Drake came and like whatever bill, I'll get my billable hours from whoever the fuck.
Right.
So I want to use the knowledge I have from school, from experience, to actually guide you and not just be, just a spoon, a utensil that you use to go to the court with. Like, I can help you out here. Like, no, I don't really want your help. Just fucking papers. Like,
Touré, he studies rap battles for a living. What do you need help from somebody who went and passed the bar? What do you need that for?
Where? I'm glad you said that, because he has said that, right? And I want you to tell me if you see it. Where do you see like evidence that, oh, he studies battles, that's why he did that sort of move? Like, when do we see that?
We don't. And I'm gonna give you one quick opinion. I'm gonna pass it to King Green. I look at it and I say he sounds like the person that when you were younger would wear a band T-shirt, and you'd be like, "Oh man, you went to the Ramones, or you went to that?" And they'd be like, "Yeah, I rock with them." And this is pre-Google years where you couldn't just Google a few songs and sound like you're a super fan. And he's like, "Oh man, I rock with all they. I can't really choose one." He seems like he does that with multiple fields. And I think that's what makes him so likable to a lot of the streamers, because it sounds like he understands their world. He understands multiple places, it seems, enough to be likable. The problem is now he's the emperor with no clothes walking around, and he's like, like earlier, somebody in here said, Cat Daddy Man said, "1 alcohol, please." Like, you're that guy now. You like we see you. Dog, we see you.
One alcohol beverage. That's exactly that's a perfect explanation, because that's his entire music career. That's his personality. That's what we said about him assimilating and acclimating to the rooms he's in and acting like he's one of them and not himself. Like when you being you and being able to relate to different people is one thing. That's a great skill to have. When you go in and you try to change yourself so they could make you think that you're one of them, that's a different thing. That's not a skill. That's actually that's inauthentic. So the whole idea is, like, I saw him do it with like Jamaican culture. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm from Toronto, so I'm basically Jamaican." That's what niggas be like. Like I'm from Toronto, so I'm basically Jamaican. Oh, well, I look Arab, so I'm gonna rap this shit in Arabic, and then y'all gonna fuck with me. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, let me do this song with Bad Bunny in Spanish because everyone calls me Champagne Poppy, so I'm basically Dominican.
I look Puerto Rican.
I look Puerto Rican, so I guess I'm that. And it's like,
this is why I felt like Kendrick was coming with an almost missionary zeal in the battle. You are inauthentic, uncool, and being cool in the Black community is extremely important, right? It is a meaningful, valuable thing. It's not bullshit. That is basically our main commodity. Like, white people have oil, or Arabs have oil, we have cool, right? And we can sell Black cool around the world. And rappers especially, how are you a successful rapper and you're not cool? How Sway? How you do that?
We had that whole conversation, so it's like, I don't totally agree with that.
I think what you said earlier too about
you are popular and you are not fucking cool, and you are not fucking hip hop, and you are not really authentic. You're not your real self. You don't understand this genre. I need to destroy you for the good of hip hop. It's not just I'm mad at you, but I represent hip hop because you are everything that we are not.
And there's a domino effect from you not necessarily being a leader, but being in the position of leadership, because that's what the machines that support you have kind of propped you up to be. I mean, even now, we're now getting a private investigator who was talking to academics that is from Rock Nation that said there's indisputable evidence that he's botting his streams, which is hilarious now coming off of the heels of this lawsuit.
He's
being dismissed.
botting streams.
Botting, yeah. So there's a video that Academics was reacting to that it shut up on the timeline where he was listening to somebody have a discussion with the private investigator that was hired, I believe, by Rock Nation, and she was saying there's indisputable evidence that he's been botting. You know, I don't get in those conversations only because I'm like, I feel like that's a normal thing in that environment for a lot of artists.
Everybody who's multi-platinum to be doing that.
I mean, I feel like there's an entry fee. When I listen to Young Thug talking on them jail phones and saying, I got a $50,000 plug that can get us back in that one position we was in before, to speak that freely about it, I can't imagine what the plugs look like for the people who we don't get to hear from.
That's a normal ass thing, bro. Like, I don't even, like, it's just such a normal thing.
So wait, you guys obviously know record business shit far beyond what I do. And so help me with this, because somebody who knows the shit too, not an artist, but super knows the shit, said that Spotify only allows you to bot 15% because after that they aren't making any money on the whole exchange. So right. You can get fairly quickly let's call it botted out. Like, and I'm like, just 15% would make a huge difference versus, 85% of the competition, but not all of it. So it doesn't automatically mean you're number one. But is that your experience? Like, talk about like what that means.
I can't tell you the specific number on that, and I'm pretty sure King Green can give some more input on that. I will say this: I know that they start at a deficit in that 70 cents of every dollar is already spoken for based upon their licensing agreements with the major labels, the Sony Music, Warner Brothers, and with what's the third one? UMG, right? Yeah. So the 70 cents of every dollar is already spoken for just for the rights to license the music on Spotify's platform. Right. That was the reason why they were allegedly in debt for so many years on the books. Mm-hmm. Because they owed that before anything got exchanged. That's what happens. You're basically dealing with that 30 cents, not 30%, but that 30 cents that you're basically splitting. In terms of those agreements, there's a lot of things that I've seen that are applied to artists that are independently distributing their music on that platform, and there's deals that we'll probably never get the details of unless we're on the end or somebody's getting subpoenaed and it's got to be exposed. But none of that would surprise me if those deals are dramatically different to make sure that relationships stay intact. Green, you got any kind of input on how some of those other percentages may work?
Yeah, the as far as like the botting thing is when they flag something for as botting is when they can see the percentage is like 10-15%. When they can see that all this is coming from the same place. When it's coming from the same place, they have a certain tactics to understand that this is clearly most likely a bot thing. But not all botting services are created equal. And that's what people need to understand. Some people at the higher level literally have paid accounts of machines going. So you can't tell it's not a paid account and it's not a real stream or not. So there's botting farms that are very legit that a lot of these people use. So that's a whole different other thing.
Yeah.
Then there's the one
why AI is coming. Probably why they're allowing AI to live so present on the platform. Before the other day, they said they got rid of 70. Spotify has allegedly approximately between 100 million and 120 million songs total on their platform. They got rid of 75 million a few days ago, and they were all AI slop. 75 million of that 120.
That's what they said. But they also Spotify also has their own AI slop or own fake music. And no one wants to talk about that. Jazz is one of the most dead genres in the world, right? So they had, in the sense of that, not a lot of people are making new jazz. That's what I mean by that. There's obviously a bunch of old jazz. So they had like these new jazz playlists and they populated it with their own music. And who was making money off of those streams? Spotify. And you could do a whole trail to that.
You were saying that there's bot farms that go beyond, we're taking beyond the 15% that I'm talking about.
Because here's why you know what is a bot or not, right? Is usually they have like these, it's usually in Russia too, and it's like this giant things of all these fake accounts where people are either hacking into someone's account and trying to get a play off of it, or they have these non-paid accounts that can give you streams and then put it together with paid accounts. Paid account means that someone's paying $15 a month for Spotify and then streaming songs. Now, if I pay $15 a month for 10,000 phones, and then I make those 10,000 phones listen to the new song every month or whatever like that, and then you make it look and it drips out so it looks like someone's actually listening to it. How do they tell? They have ways, but not very good ones. How do they tell? It looks like real people are listening to the song, and it's automated to get played. King Green, $1 million. Everybody go play that. King Green, $1 million for the whole song, and then they play it again. The song's only 3 minutes. There's 24 hours in a day. How many plays can I get? You feel what I'm saying? So, and you only really need 30 seconds, and they could cut back and forth of how much they could do that, and you get a play. There's a whole. The bot has been there since the beginning of streaming. Bot has been there since digital media. So, Apple iTunes, people used to buy songs. They buy like 15,000 singles the first day. That's just $15,000, and now I'm on the chart, and everyone thinks it's hot.
See, Drake's whole thing has been sales and numbers. And when we talk to Drake heads, all they talk about is sales and numbers. And the more we talk about how the charts are manipulated and not an authentic representation of what the people are listening to, Drake's core argument to being the whole shit falls apart. Because you got bots, you got payola. There's all these different ways that you are set up by the label is spending time and money to set you up to be the biggest recording artist in the game. And then you're saying, well, actually, they did that for somebody else for a moment. For a moment. I mean, like, the princess could feel a pee 8 mattresses down. Like, this is the thing that's been making your career. And now it's
I'm gonna say, the scariest part about that, Touré? I'm looking at this now and I'm like, is that what he's trying to make his case about? Is an example being made of him right now? You release 40 songs and none of them have had the sustainable. You released a full project in collaboration with Party Next. You've done all this work. Are they showing us front and center? This is what it looks like when you don't have the kind of support that made you believe that you were in leadership?
No, because Lucian Grange is a capitalist. He is the head of a major international stockholding company. He is bound by fiduciary duty to do whatever he can in every single moment to deliver value for the stockholders. So he can't do something that would devalue Drake. That's ridiculous. That goes again. He's trying to make, so even if Drake were to do the old school Ice Cube thing, come into his office with a baseball bat, break the desk,
It'd probably be a nerve pad.
Right? Rick James do coke on the desk, right? Fuck you, label man. And he comes in with an album the next day. Lucian's like, yo, we're gonna put this shit out. He's irrelevant.
He's gonna tape the whole fiasco, put it out there to make him look hard, and use that to promote the album. Yes, I believe that Lucian Grange is a capitalist. It's not that I believe he is a capitalist, and that's how he thinks and moves. But niggas are also petty, especially niggas with money, and you can do petty shit to people.
He was high-fiving Dre at the Grammys. He was high-fiving. They was in there high-fiving in front of all them cameras.
Kendrick, you saying? Oh, Dre, yeah.
I'm talking about Lucian and Dr.
Yeah.
Lucian won an award for Music Executive of the Decade, right? Like, this man ain't doing it. And his son is also big within his shit. What's his son's name?
Warner.
Right.
They're competing, actually.
Well, but he's big in the industry, right?
Yeah,
and I'm certain that they are in conversation.
Name.
And his son, even more than Lucian, is very much about numbers and data. They don't care about the feeling. One manager said to me, every artist is disgruntled. every single one. So like that Drake is disgruntled or upset with UMG, like they all are. We're just used to this. So like it doesn't have any impact on how there's no chance that UMG spent even a second thinking about how can we devalue Drake. More likely would be that Drake is taking this moment to devalue himself to screw UMG.
What I think that's a theory that a lot of people have, and I'm just wondering, right? I don't know what the details are, but I'm looking at this and I'm saying, strategically, doesn't that make sense? Especially if you're in a position to where you're the head of UMG, we're gonna be here no matter what happens with the Drake, Drakasha, and I don't care who you are. We're going to be here. You're not going to take this entity down. Could that be something that strategically is reminding you who's your daddy?
Right. That's what I'm saying.
You got to remember that for the most part, UMG works because of 3 artists: Taylor, Drake, and The Weeknd. The rest of y'all are really lottery.
Kendrick Lamar.
I'll give you that, but he's not. Before recently, he's not in the commercial stratosphere as those 3, right? And like Leor Cohen, like 20 years ago, was like, one hot artist, one multi-platinum artist will pay for 10 moonshots. So this is kind of like the way the labels think. I get 1 or 2 big people, and that gives me a chance to do 10 or to take a shot at it 10 or 20 times. And if I keep shooting, maybe eventually I'll get another big artist. Drake, The Weeknd, and Taylor, for the most part, are the ones who pay for everybody else to do whatever the fuck they want. And if somebody else blows up, fantastic. But they're not going to hurt Drake in any way when he's one of the 3 biggest names in the building.
Well, no, not hurt, but remind you as you are trying to do whatever you like. If one of the goals was to possibly get a settlement from this lawsuit, right, to settle out of court, or to, because there was conversations about he was renegotiating his deal, and that's why he possibly wanted to see what Kendrick's deal was, and all these different theories that were there. Just from a strategic standpoint, if you're negotiating, it's almost like let's remind the person what happens when the special features get cut off, right? When those favors we do for you, let's see what happens when we just cut those off.
That is just absolutely a thing, Touré, that you need to accept that. That's absolutely a thing.
What?
Like, I'll put you in your place. Yes, I have to show you and put you in your place. And it's like, I make my money off of your old shit anyways. I don't give a fuck what you're talking about now.
No, I don't buy for a second that UMG would do anything like that to Drake.
Well, no, anything like what? Let's be specific.
They said 7 years ago, they said the majority of what he's generating in terms of income off of his music is from his catalog from 7 years ago, right?
That they already own.
Yeah.
You can't do anything to damage whatever connection that audience has with that. Like, that is people. There's so many people who are playing that music who have no idea of the politics outside. They're not
don't even know who he is.
Right. Okay. So I'm saying, could that be one of those scenarios? And I feel like we've heard many stories from artists that do podcasts and interviews after of like, yeah, that was them kind of sitting me down while still making money off of me in the way that they want to.
You can do that to people who aren't keeping the lights on.
But they're keeping the lights on with the old shit they already owned.
But Drake is one of the 3 people who are like paying for everything. And like you can say, yes, it's really 2007 Drake who's doing that, not 2025 Drake. But the possibility of Drake making another record at that level is much greater than any one of the rest of y'all. The Clips, get the fuck out. Like, we don't.
Of course, but we're not talking about the Clips. But I don't need Drake when I have The Weeknd, BTS, Bruno Mars.
You always need Drake.
Who are actively making records.
Making records.
Competing with their catalog, yeah.
You could get that from Drake again. You would never say, I don't need Drake. He is the top level of music industry artist, right? And he could release another hit like that at any time. It's everybody else who we don't. The middle class, we do not need you. So
yeah, but we're not talking about the middle class.
I know, but I'm saying you could do that to them. You could play a game on them. Like, let me remind you, if you don't get this tour support, you don't get this album, this song support, this is what happens. You're not doing that to Drake, Taylor, Weeknd, the top level people.
Look, can I throw an example out there? Because I see it happen in sports. On contract years, those when players usually try to ball out their most because they know that that's their leverage for negotiating a new deal.
Mm-hmm.
If this is indeed the time where he goes to renegotiate and he had in his mind, oh, I'm about to get the biggest deal that any artist has ever seen before. And in their mind, they're having conversations of like, well, hold on. The last few albums are not doing what the 7 years ago your catalog is doing. What have you done for us lately? And if he's saying, well, I'm me, who else is keeping the lights on except for me, Taylor? And if that's an opportunity for them to remind you or bench a player or give him less minutes or make it more difficult by sitting certain people down that you have better chemistry with, it happens in sports all the time.
Happened to James Harden. Happened to James Harden. That's what happened to Drake.
This is not the sports analogy doesn't work because it's a little bit trickier. It's a lot trickier for the team to say, this is how much money we made from you being here, right? There's a lot of things that go into that, and you could lose in the finals or whatever. And like Kobe did his best, but we lost in the finals. Like, what are you gonna do? But they can quantify to the penny. Drake, we spend this much on Drake, and we make this much on Drake, and the multiple that they must make on Drake must be ridiculous. Because if they give you what is the last deal? 400 million? They
around there, yeah.
They gave him 400 million. They are making at least 800 million off of him.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There's
you talking about in general?
Yeah, if they're giving you 400 bills, they're making
they made like 3 billion. more than 800.
So they're not like there's still even if they make 2 billion from you, there's still hundreds of millions that they can go up, and the profit margin is still very, very high. They're not going to hurt. There's nothing they're going to do to hurt Drake. This is part of why.
Oh man, because I feel like the leverage changes. The leverage changes when you're in a position and you say, before you come here and demand $1 billion for your next deal, just throwing a number out there. Yeah. Let's not forget, this is what it looks like when we don't push the buttons for you.
We could just tell you that. Look, most of your income is from 7 years ago. The last 5, we'll just tell you that. We don't need to show you in like a mean dad.
No, but listen. This is what exactly happened. Let's talk about what exactly happened instead of like the hypothetical. Drake signed a deal for $400 million. That deal entails everything. 360 deal, like a super 360 deal, right? He goes out and tours. He drops like 17,000 albums. Let's remember that after he signed that deal, he did Her Loss. He did the dance one. He did For All the Dogs and this R&B one, right? Actually, no, this R&B is not part of that. I think it's a Warner album, but with a license. Either way, he did 4 albums. None of those albums warrant him coming back to the label because that's what he did. This is what it's been said by a lot of people, and we all think this is true from credible sources. He went back to UMG and said, look, I fulfilled my deal. I did all this work. Look at how much money I generated from this stuff. They were like, no, you did not. You did not do that.
Of course not.
You did not do that. But from Drake's accounting, supposedly, it was like, we generated this much.
Wait, that's pretty much like 100% of the time that the label is saying, you only did this much, and the artist is saying, "Of course I recouped," and the label's like, "No, you did not."
I just recouped. That's very much the truth. But when you recouped, you recouped. Like if you actually do it, which he's done plenty of times, because he's made them, like we said, if they gave you 400, you made them a couple bills. So he's recouped before. So we don't know where the truth lies, and that's where I think the discrepancy had.
Speaking of where the truth lies. What if the real point of all this was not to fade or curve UMG or whatever? The real point was the discovery. I just want a court to let me see Kendrick's deal, to get into his life, to find out, like, is Dave Free really the parent of it? Like those stupid fucking gossipy questions that he was putting through in Discovery. That was the real point of all this, to publicly embarrass him. I don't even need to use it in a record. Although if I get his contract, I'll put it in a record and talk about it. Like that was, and like maybe that was the real, because maybe his lawyers were saying to him, "You're probably going to lose this." He's like, "I don't care. I don't care. Winning doesn't matter to me. I got a lot of money. It doesn't matter. What I want the Discovery to embarrass him.
And look at who we're talking about. At the end of that plan, look at how we're talking about who we're talking about. You didn't make this any better. This is why I call this the art of taking an L, because there's a different way to approach this. I heard Rob Markman say, and I thought it was really interesting. He said it is quite possible that that after this battle, J. Cole in the Big Three still comes up number 2. Even after apologizing, and like I said, today is the anniversary of the Port Antonio song, where he kind of was transparent about some of the things he felt about what transpired in that battle. And now you look at it, it's like, to even Drake's own doing, he makes it worse on himself just by not sat down somewhere. Just shut up.
Oh my god. He needed to be quiet for a little while, let this settle, make some rhythmic, dancey records. Like, this is completely the wrong tack. Like, this is the worst. But should be studied in whatever hip hop universities we have, and whoever else is coming up who studies fucking battles. This is the exact wrong way to deal with this situation.
Let me ask you this, Touré. If we could change history, all right, and for whatever reason, those 15 managers he had got cut down to 1. I'm gonna ask you the same question, King Green. Touré, how do you tell him to maneuver this if he is adamant? Because I know you probably would say, don't jump in this battle, first of all. But if he was adamant, if he was like, no, I gotta prove this is for my legacy, I gotta get in here and show that I can do it against the best in the game. How would you have consulted him to maneuver post that battle, to make this the best case scenario over the last year?
I mean, we've talked about this a bunch. You got to sit down and be quiet and disappear for a good minute. Like, let's go to, Tahiti or Bali for 3 months, and just chill the fuck out and nobody hear from you, to where people are like, wow, I kind of forgot about the battle and I kind of miss Drake. You know what I mean? Like, just he got his ass kicked, but like, he wasn't that bad. Like, I kind of miss the guy.
That's never been his thing, though.
And then no, I know. And then, well, he said, what should he do? I'm like, in this,
like, what would you consult him to do? Like, go take a break. Like, what would you tell him personally at that point?
We got to take a break. We got to make some dance records. We got to make some fucking music that reminds people why they liked you. Those 2007 records that made him the elite superstar that he is now. We got to get back to musical melody records. That when Kendrick said, I like Drake with the melody. What did he say? He said, I like Drake with the melody. What was the line?
He said, I don't like when he act tough. I like Drake with the melodies. Yeah.
Yes. That's a hook. I'm using that as a hook in a song. A melodic Drake song. Right? Maybe I'll pull in like that. Was that Jay-Z line? You made it a hot line. I made it a hot song. That's the second hook on the record. So now we're looking like, bam. So we're like working together to like with Kendrick, right? With Jay-Z a little bit, right? Like that sort of shit. Like, and we talked about this too. An album like remember how Marvin Gaye makes Hear My Dear, which is talking about the relationship. We're gonna make an album of songs about like, oh, I got destroyed in this battle. And it's so, it hurt me. And like, talk about that. Talk about the battle from your perspective in music. That would be interesting.
But so, Ray, let me before I pass it to King Green, let me role play. I'm the artist right now, all right? I'm the Canadian Light Bright, and I'm like, manager, Touré. People stab me in the back. I gotta come back. I gotta let people know, look, they're playing my music at the DNC. They playing the diss song at the DNC. They playing Not Like Us on every. I can't even watch the NBA playoffs. They playing it in every commercial. I gotta fight back. How do you kind of mentor him in that moment to say that's not the best way to go about it? Like, because that energy exists. You want to get back to somebody.
I think about 50% of niggas have read The Art of War and 50% have not, right? But like, it's a book that a lot of niggas have read, right?
Right.
There's a principle in there. I'm forgetting exactly of like, if you are defeated, retreat, or if you can't win, retreat. Right?
Yeah.
Don't keep fucking fighting. You don't have the forces. You don't have the terrain. Like, retreat and come back another day. I'm pulling the book out and I'm like, look what Sun Tzu said. In this situation, we have to retreat. I know not like us is killing us, but like we got to pull back. There's no record you could make that would eat into the monster that is not like us. So we have to meet that moment with silence and let that chill the fuck out. And
he made that record that big.
Drake
he
did?
may not like, Drake. I mean, it's literally the reality of it. The reason why that record is obviously a great song and a great diss song. But I'm talking about without you being such a bitch, it wouldn't be that have that magnitude. Because
that's a great promotion.
You keep going. It's like everyone's like, ha ha. And then you'd be like, well, he's cheating. Ha ha. Everyone just freaking keeps laughing at you. That song went to the charts like 3 different times.
Yeah.
In the span of like 2-3 years. Like that's all his doing. But what I would say to him is I love the Art of War reference. And I completely agree with that. First thing that you need to do, though, is know your enemy. So it's like him understanding who his enemy is. He doesn't know that. He still doesn't know who he's fighting.
Yeah.
He thinks he's fighting Kendrick Lamar.
He thinks he's currently right now doing a Kendrick Lamar impersonation with all of these coded messages and his Pinocchio
shit
outfit and all of that.
He's truly fighting.
Say it again?
He said, who did Kendrick say? This isn't a rap battle. It's a
long life battle with yourself.
You're battling yourself.
Yeah.
He doesn't even know that shit. He doesn't you know how much of a mature person you have to be to understand that, wait a minute, this has nothing to do with him. Because we don't even know Kendrick Lamar.
He's been literally talking to himself for the last year.
Yeah.
Kendrick said nothing except for release more music. Yes, he's at a football game in Brazil sipping tea. He has literally said nothing.
And you
King Green, you know our peers. You know how much timing we would have did if you would have had an ass whooping like that was that public? I'd have been on Insta stories, Instagram live. You couldn't get me off a live talking about that ass whooping I handed out to somebody.
Exactly.
He's been like this.
He's been chill. And once Drake finds out that this is about him and who he is, if he can, but some people are so far out their ass they can't even see that shit. They're so worried about optics and not worried about who they are. Because the reason why he even was successful in this game is because he actually was who he was in the beginning. He's like, I like singing R&B. I like this hip hop shit. I want to be successful. I like all this. I want to be a part of this culture and do it all. And he was that guy of like, oh, he's cool. He's the guy from Canada that I roll with. Keep being yourself. And then he switched up because he was like being very successful and wanted to be the guy. And you've never been the guy. You're the guy from the outside that's very talented. If you stayed in that space, he would be who he is right now. But he couldn't stay.
See, that point about he is ultimately a cultural outsider. He did not grow up at this school. So if this had happened to Kendrick or to Dre or to Nas or to Jay, whatever, they would have known much better how to deal with it. Even we've seen other people, like let's say Meek Mill, take an L and like know how to flow out of it and keep going. His career is
don't even remember Meek Mill's L. Like I don't even care. Like I don't remember that shit. Jay-Z is the number one L taker of all time. Number one L taker of all time is Jay-Z.
We opening that box back up because we had that conversation. That was a heated conversation last time.
Drake took a huge L with Pusha T, kept it flowing, right? Yeah. Like said, okay, you want to bring out my son? Cool. I'll rock with my son in public from here on out. Let's go. Now we haven't seen the kid.
You got to make sure your voice breaks when you say that. I'll bring him out and we can. We
haven't seen the kid.
I'm not afraid to show off how my father.
But I mean, like he accepted the moment and he kept flowing. In this moment, he's been screaming about, no, you didn't really beat me. You didn't really beat me for what, a year and a half, 532 days, whatever the fuck.
500.
That's a great point. I don't agree with the whole outside of the culture exact point. I just think I think he's outside of a specific culture. But what I do agree with though,
hip hop culture of African American culture.
I don't know. Yes, to a degree, but I think it's a degree of a sort. This is like he's outside of street culture specifically.
100%.
So that's what I'm trying to say is, and he tried to like leapfrog into that shit, and that's the shit I don't fuck with. Like him, like seeing that message on DMs, like yo, I come from a place where you don't come from no place, nothing, nigga.
We talked about this.
He's got mob ties. What are you talking about, King Green? He's got mob ties.
You might have mob ties, but so did freaking all them niggas like Sammy, the Rat Pack and shit. But all them niggas wasn't from that shit. They just sang songs with Frank Sinatra. So Frank Sinatra,
he got mob deep ties, but he ain't got no mob ties.
No, okay, then let me get in on the whole. What was the other point you said about the street culture shit, and then the other thing that he wasn't doing? Like you said, he was outside. I said outside of the culture as well as. Fuck it. You lost my point now. Whatever. Who cares? Don't forgot my point. It was a good one.
It'll come back to you. It'll come back to you.
This is an interesting. Go ahead.
What do you think? So to you, what do you think this nigga should have done in the wake of Not Like Us to get the career back on track?
I already had a rollout plan afterwards. I said after Heart Part 6. Go ahead and find yourself an island, shave them braids off, and just sip ayahuasca shakes until you have an awakening, because he has been arguing with himself over the last year and he doesn't realize it. And while he's arguing with himself and collecting bags under his eyes and stressing out, he thinks people can't see him. He think we got a different type of internet. In his internet news feed, nothing changed. What you mean, baby? I put out a new song last week. It's like that scene in the 5 Heartbeats, and he was like, sometimes I wish raindrops would fall. He's having that moment, and he doesn't realize it because he's like, I'm lit. I got more money than I ever had. People still see me, and they look kind of happy. Like, you know what I mean? I'm one of the biggest names. People are talking about me, even in my downfall. He doesn't realize this is that time that every artist goes through it. Like, I feel like this is the time period where you take a break and you reemerge with an album with a sunlight behind you, and you name it after your government name. We need the Aubrey album now with a bald head. You need the Aubrey album. Didn't LL Cool J do that? Respect to the OG. He went through some things, and he had a very sobering album that was like, I'm a human being. Let's talk about these human beings. I'm beyond LL Cool J. He needs the Aubrey album and some ayahuasca milkshakes, and he would have been in a much better position. Sit down with Bill King. Huh?
Have you ever done ayahuasca?
No, I'm just suggesting shit I never took.
You would already. It's a little shot. You take a little shot.
A little shot.
A little.
I'm good.
Like a little cappuccino, but like half of a cappuccino, and it tastes
Portadito?
like.
No, he need them 1990s supersized cups of ayahuasca, because that's a lot of ego to work through.
But the Aubrey Graham album is a great idea. I think we're all saying the same thing as far as get to the authentic 39, 40-year-old Drake, right? The real shit, the real person behind the mask. I'm upset about the battle. I'm upset that I don't have a wife. You know, whatever the fuck is really going on. You know, that moment when he's talking to Yachty, and Yachty's like on the beach, that interview, and Yachty's like, you're getting up there. And he had this thing about like, like, yeah, I am getting kind of old. Make a song about I'm getting older.
What you're asking for is a vulnerability that's what made some people fans of his back in those days when he was making songs like Fear. That's what made him so different. It wasn't the fact that he could rap well and he came from a TV show, even though it was part of his story. It was the fact that he was making songs that seemed a bit more vulnerable than what you were used to from rappers in that position.
Yep.
Did you say that he could rap well and was on a television show?
No, I didn't. That's no.
He's not rapping well ever. So let's calm down.
I don't know about that, but I remembered what I was about to say now. To go to that, you brought up the Pusha T thing and how he took that L, and this is why I said he's not part of a certain culture, because in that space he took the L that he was supposed to take it, and he did it the correct way, and came up with a song called "I'm Upset." And the song was a hit song, but it also came up to the fact like it felt like I'm vulnerable. I did lose. I'm upset. Yes, that sucks.
Did that song sound vulnerable to you, or did it sound like some more shit talking? That sounded like shit talking to me.
It was shit talking, but it was both of those things at the same time. Because the I'm upset in general is not a song that you hear from a rapper. You don't make a song I'm upset, and then he flips it into I'm upset 50 something on the neck or something like whatever the verses were, where it made it feel cocky and ego driven, but he put it out as I'm upset. So that's just like Motown songs where the phrase might say something and it can be applied to anybody in their life, but then it's a love song, right? That's the same thing. It was great songwriting. And it made sense for who he was in the space at that time. And he said that he lost. He said, that's the only chink in my armor, right? He knew he lost that battle.
That ain't saying it. But I hear what you're saying, and you're giving a whole lot more credit because you as a writer understand the nuance in it. But I feel like the general audience looks at that and says, come on, man, we need more vulnerability than that. You need to come out here and just say,
no, he needs that now, but not that.
I'm saying that could have been part of the recipe of what works today. Because if he comes back, another part of that plan when he releases the Aubrey album, I need him to do a whole documentary about this and talk about how, like, man, I was really going through it, man. My gambling issues was getting ahead of me.
Yeah,
man, I was stressing out. Look at me at this party right here, the all white party. I couldn't think of nothing except for Not Like Us, because
who's
been through this?
Hold on,
human. That makes you so human.
Let me stop you right there, though, because that completely makes him human, Curtis. This is what. Even because we know that this nigga's too egotistical for this shit. Even if he can't really feel that, his ego-driven mind should do it anyways, even if you don't mean it, because it's going to be successful.
It's going to
lie. You should, even if you don't believe that you're wrong, you should fucking lie, Drake. Because
look, Green. Green, can I say this?
Authentic, and now you're saying he should lie.
It would work for it.
It would be on brand. Look, he didn't even use his white card the right way. You're supposed to shave your head off and then go blame the dark-skinned male who bullied you and talk with Gayle King. And you talk about how all these people ganged up on me in this hip-hop place. And then you go release a country album like Post Malone.
Yeah, and just start saying you're biracial. Like, use the word biracial.
You point that Drake
playing, baby.
He may still be recovering from finding out that all these niggas he thought were his friends are actually not his friends and don't fuck with him at all, right?
That's
and right, he would have made a record with Future.
We'll deal with that later. We just need you to get out there and act like you got some accountability. Just
act like it at least.
You're an actor, for God's sake. What are we talking about? You're an actor.
You can act like a tough guy. You could act like a vulnerable, like just. Make some money, bro. That Aubrey album, like we should get a check. I think we need to put this out. We should get a check. That Aubrey album is a platinum album. Let me talk about his
He got to wear all white too, though. He got to wear all white.
Oh yeah,
all white, like a onesie, all white, and it's got to be a bald head with a sunlight behind him. And he got to do something like this.
No, he's got to be in front of the set of Degrassi on the album cover, and then
you got to put him on a beach with the BlackBerry with the side scroll. He found it.
Yo, he found it.
Going back to the roots. You got to play him, baby.
Going back to the roots. I feel like that's an inside cover art picture.
He found the BlackBerry with the side scroll.
What did he say? He said, sell that thing for $10,000 to any rapper that I know. Like, right? He didn't give a fuck.
You know what? Actually, for my next listening, see, that's a real plan, though. I found the BlackBerry with the side scroll, and I want you as my fan to be the first person to listen to this. Come join me on the beach, and let's play the album. You'll be the first person I play the album for on the BlackBerry.
Especially if you're a teenage girl. Oh, boy.
That's the album. I'm Just Aubrey.
I'm Just Aubrey.
I'm Just Aubrey is great. Yo, where's our check, bro? I'm dead ass.
I run that shit up.
Yo, I feel like we need 300 bands for this idea. Split it 3 ways. That's good. We'll give you the email. Yo, put the email on the screen for us.
It's too late because he ruined it. This is before the lawsuit. You can't do this.
I think it still work after the lawsuit.
No, because he keep on like I compare this to like when you remember the TV show Funniest Home Movies, Funniest Home Videos, and they would show somebody falling on ice, and you knew it was inevitable before they eventually fell. He's
Yeah,
still doing the sliding effects, and it's like, dog, just fall. We know it's gonna happen. It looks funnier because you're like, damn, he really is staying up all this time and continuing to throw more shit at the fan.
Not Like Us would be ancient history if he stopped talking about it. If he just let it go and just, we're never talking about the past. Make no reference to the past. We're moving forward. They would be like, that was a moment, and now we're here. And like, nope, he fucking keeps talking about it. He lives in the battle space. Kendrick does not. That's so fucking nuts. Like, Kendrick has moved on. You know, like your ex who's like still trying to get back with you, and you're like, yo, I am engaged. Like, I am getting married. Like, she's pregnant. Like, no, I'm never coming back. But please, oh my God.
But you know what though, Touré? Isn't that what he was doing when he was throwing shots at Rihanna and throwing shots at Serena? Like, he likes playing those games with people who have moved on,
especially women.
Especially women. Here's the thing: Not Like Us can't become history because it's documenting current time still. Like, he is the person. He is every bit of the person that he got dissected as in Meet the Grams, Euphoria. I have yet to see him go the complete opposite in his branding and say, "Oh, actually, I'm not like that." Like, let me show you. No, he's doubled down on it. I'm not like you. Well, let me show you how much I'm not like you and sue you.
Really not like
what is your brand?
Manager 40. No one can. A friend. There should be a friend. Someone. Kendrick got, Dave. I bet he bounces ideas off of Whitney. He got people in the industry, like actual rappers who like, what do you think about this? Whatever. This nigga, I don't think there's anybody helping him, and he's just making shitty decision after shitty decision. This is just a stream of, this is how to not deal with getting destroyed.
Golly, because there's another way to go about this. I'm telling you, I'd have threw the flag in a whole lot earlier. If I said, I'm going to go battle against Kendrick Lamar, I guess we'll go ahead and do this. So it's not like I had enough. Like, there's a way to flip. There is one podcast episode he could have had that it could have been like, yeah, I got fucked up. He did it right there. And then it humanizes you for a moment. But I think he's got this.
Makes the song not as powerful too.
Yeah, because then it's like
the podcast the Friday after the song came out. You say that nigga won. You say that nigga won, and then you say, what happened?
Go ahead.
No, I'm listening to you. I'm just saying.
The way he's grabbing his mic is real weird. But anyways,
it looks dirty. I'm trying to fix it. It look dirty.
No, but. You do that podcast like that week after you do the and in the podcast you say that I lost, but you also claim that is like, oh, when he started talking about all that like kid stuff, that I just wanted to end it. It just went too far, blah blah blah. It would humanize you, make Kendrick look like he went too far because you just did it on a Friday after, instead of you being like, how did he respond to the young thing? It was so
I would have danced to it if it wasn't full of lies.
No. In the heart part 6, he was like, I'm way too famous for that to be true.
Right.
You didn't make your case not one bit.
And within that interview, Green, we're gonna slip in, I only have one child. It just undercut Meet the Grams, right?
Meet the Grams.
Don't even make a big deal out of it. Just, by the way, I only have one child. That's that.
He thought the song would go away.
So we're fucking with you in passive aggressive ways rather than, he hurt my feelings. He sucks. Y'all cheated. What the fuck?
Wait, and then wait. Then he had time to think about it and continue to do other things that we're forgetting so many details, and who could remember all the stuff that happened. But like, I think about minor things that seem very minor in the scope of things. He came back with new music. I think it was a song called Super Soaker, right? Was that the name of the song he had with Lil Yachty that had like a sample on it? He sampled a popular TikTok Instagram user who's like very serious about their Christian faith, and he said, hey, I appreciate you using my sample for that song, but could you guys at least remove the cursing so I can honor, what my beliefs? And they did the asshole thing and released it anyways. So it's like you're literally doing things where people who have platforms can say, I think he might actually be the guy. Goodness gracious was the name of the sample to use. Like, you continue to do things that showed I'm really that guy in Euphoria. Why are you proving that?
But that's who he really is. Right?
That's the
Like, I don't
problem.
think, like, I think we've been talking about be authentic, but like, this is who he really is. And like, when I say he doesn't understand the culture, it's not a 0% understanding. He understands 85% of it, which seems like a lot. And he can,
Yeah.
walk through the halls of the school that is hip hop and wear the jacket and look the part. But when we get into the nitty gritty of it all, he's a little lost because he didn't go here from first grade to sixth grade. So you missed some of the core lessons. Like, how do we get down on the playground after somebody punches you in the face? I don't know. I never really saw that happen. Like, well, I know what to do. He knows what to do, but you aren't really of this school, so you don't really know what to do. And that's the thing we keep noticing about this nigga. You're not really like us, and you missed some of the lessons, but enough that when shit goes left, we're like, he doesn't know what to do. He only knows what to do when everything is normal. Like,
but Touré, that you gave him another solution in that if you say the thing that we all know, which is I'm not from here, I was a little bit blind to some of the ethics and some of the codes that some of these dudes abide by. Like, for instance, hey, we don't have to make it personal. We can keep it a friendly fade. When he didn't understand what that meant and continued to hammer home at the innocent people that are not involved in his battle, like his family and his, he didn't understand what that was establishing because he's not of that culture.
No.
That's an opportunity to be like, okay, see, I didn't understand that part. And as much as I like to feel like I'm a part of Atlantic culture and I'm a part of Memphis culture and Texas culture, there's a lot of things I don't know.
Jamaican culture, British culture, French culture.
and even not even to make it a Canadian thing, but I was a child star who spent a lot of my time on camera. Like, there's opportunities where people will give you outs. We're not, because we hip hop heads, and we're not buying into that. No excuses. But like, there's so many outs he didn't take, but instead he tried to like become aggressive with it, and then took on a whole. It's like he tried to become a villain. But he failed at that too.
Failed at being a villain. He failed at going to the whole other side. And I think that we would be at least respectful of him taking the L, even if we thought, like, if he took the L, he lost as terribly, we would still listen to his songs and be like, oh, he made a nice little song about money and women. And I would be able to at least receive it differently, because now I know that you have a problem. Like, it's a deep-rooted issue that, like we said, you don't know yourself.
Yeah.
You don't really know yourself, or yourself is just that horrid that I don't want to be. I don't even need that energy. That's dark energy. Like, you're a dark person.
In a way, this moment in Drake's career would have happened anyway, even if Kendrick decided not to, attack him with these records. Because Drake still gets to 38, 39, 40, and it's like, what am I going to talk about? I'm going to talk about shit that a 26-year-old is going through, but you haven't been that in a very long time. You're not talking about things. I mean, the inauthenticity charge goes back, many, many, many years. It's not just to this moment.
Sure.
So we would have figured out and we've been figuring out, as you said, his hot records are really like 8 to 10 years ago, right? Like, you haven't really been that hot in many years before Kendrick started attacking you. So
the bar he said, like, I think the people who are counting what you're saying are going to say, well, he still had songs that reached for the bar that he said. We're talking about in the universe of him, right? That's specific.
Yes, Drake.
He's definitely been double platinum with every single album after.
Right.
But he was 7 times platinum with Scorpion, 8 times platinum with Views. Her Loss and all that run that he did was 2 times platinum. The thing that's more important, this last album, some sexy songs for Negroes,
for
you.
That one is gold. It's 500,000 units.
But if you normally
that's not good for him.
No, well, if you do 8 million, 7 million, this is what we're expecting, hoping for 6 million, and then you do 2 million, that's a huge flop. That's a big problem. You did a third or a quarter of what you normally do, like that's a problem. And we probably spend the same amount of money to make and promote these albums, right? But this time, you think they spent more on the album that went 8 million versus 2 million?
Yes, 3,000%. That's a guaranteed yes.
You're saying they spent more now?
No. So the amount of money spent on views in 20, what was that, 15? 2016?
Right.
Yeah. Is astronomical.
For sure.
Versus the amount of the money that they spent on that run of albums he did. The only thing that's different is that they gave that nigga $400 million or plus. Mm-hmm. So that money, though, went to him mainly. That's not like marketing budget too, from what I understand. So what they're spending on that album is not the same thing that they spent on views. They didn't spend what they spent on views on Her Loss, or was the other one?
I mean, you would think that if you pay a nigga 400 mil, you're going to do everything you can to get as much money as you can from him. Yeah. So like, we got to push these fucking records. And you know, 2 million, as I said,
2 million's a lot. 2 million's a lot. First of all,
no, it's not. Not if you do 8, 7, 6 million. No, it's not. That's a failure. And UMG is upset at 2 million.
They're not upset.
8 million.
If they spent the money they spent on views, they would be upset. But they're not, because they, in the time that they did views, that nigga dropped in like 2 years. I think it wasn't even the same year. He dropped 2 million albums.
It's 2 projects that could. If you're UMG, you're saying Drake's coming out. All right, let's budget 6 million. We're gonna make 6 million, not $6 million. We're gonna sell 6 million records off this album, and we gotta break down more, because they would not just think about the album, but they also think about how many hot singles can we get that will do, 1 billion streams, right? If I'm expecting 6 and I get 2, I'm like, yo, we got a huge problem. I get 2 from the Clips, I'm thrilled. I get 2 from Drake. What the fuck? You were a rainmaker. You didn't make it rain this year. Like, we got a problem.
Well, that's a Drake problem, but there's also too that there's got to be a discussion of the industry and what the direction it was going as well, because the industry is nowhere near what it was in that views era compared to now, with all the downscaling and all the people getting fired at all these different labels and merging, and there's a very different atmosphere. So even the funds available to do certain things are not there. Like even to prioritize doing music videos, a lot of that budget is allocated in different places. So looking at that from a broader, I'm like, it was heading that direction. You're right. I just wonder if he was doing anything actively to set himself up to inevitably go independent, and if he even knew what that meant for his brand. I think that he killed the chances of doing that at a level that could have been game-changing for the scope of things. I don't gotta like the guy, but I think him being in a position to do that definitely changes the future deals for other artists that come up into that position, if he successfully breaks away from that.
Let me talk about that real quick. Let me talk about that. You're so correct at that. If he did that, instead of getting the $400 million deal and he went independent, because that was his time to do that, he would have changed the entire industry. The entire industry would have changed around that if he created a independent space instead of going for the $400 million deal. But he was wanted to be, I'm a billionaire, let me get paid for my work and all that, which I'm not even criticizing him that for that specifically. I'm saying that's what he wanted to do. He didn't want to be independent. It's like, give me my bag for all that money that I made y'all, right? So give me my $400 million. But
I'm sorry, but it's not just on. You're not done?
Let me finish this last point about the industry changing, because he dropped 2 albums in 1 year that did like 3 point something. It took, and in 4 years or 3 years, he did 15 million with 2 albums, right? In 4 years, 50 million. And that's the height of streaming. But what streaming's doing, what people don't understand, is that streaming is a product that's based on time, and time is finite, right? You know what I'm saying? You don't got the time. So when you spread it amongst a bunch of people, the pot isn't going just to Drake, because now you got The Weeknd, you got Taylor, you got all these people streaming. You got me and Curtis. Our shit's going crazy. So it's fucking up his numbers. That's what happens. Just saying that
it's not that Drake doesn't want to go independent. I don't know what his feelings on being independent are or are not. The label would never let him leave. Whatever they have to do, fuck with the recoup numbers, throw too much money at him, they would never let you leave. He is far too big for them to allow him to leave. You can't have Taylor, you can't have The Weeknd, you can't have Drake leave. Like the rest of y'all, Kendrick, the rest of y'all,
Taylor kind of left.
Y'all,
but Touré, before you land that, real quick, doesn't that make an argument for why they gave him a preview of what that independence could look like by not giving him the support on these last 40 songs? I dare you to go independent. You know what? Do it on your own and let's see how that works out in the charts.
But there's no world where Lucian Grange and his team didn't do everything they could to make as much money as they could from Drake in every possible second.
Yes.
That never happened. That not 1 second were they not trying to maximize the amount of money they were making from Drake at every fucking possible turn. They are in this time to do that.
Yeah. But in this time period, who's to say that the money is where they're generating the most money off of his brand, right? They can make money in other places, whether through licensing, whether through other avenues where they could take a hit here and still make more money just to make sure that they're still have the upper hand in negotiation.
Labels are not spending the same amount of money on promoting songs on streaming, song streaming, because there's a whole function behind that. So that's just a reality now, right? So what he's talking about is that in order to try to break an artist, and I like the artist and he did well last time, I'm going to put extra money into the budget to try to break him. That's money that's usually an L, because you're trying to make it back in the long term, like in case this goes pop and all that. Mm-hmm. Drake's already broken.
Sure.
It's already going to make a certain amount of streams. Spotify already is going to put him in certain playlists and it's going to make money. Why am I going to put more money in it to supposedly go get bigger when if I do no money, it collects this amount of profit? You see what I'm saying, Touré?
And what happens if I don't pad it with the extra millions of streams that come along with you being in the privileged position that you're in, and we wanting to,
I'm coming on with liking you. This is what I'm trying to say. They add money because they like you.
They actually did that, and this is as far as he could get at this stage in his career. Because like people aren't fucking with him like that anymore.
I mean, it still sets the same precedent in that, hey, you come back to negotiate with us, don't throw any ridiculous numbers because your brand has spiraled over the last year.
I mean, in baseball, they have arbitration where it's a terrible idea. I don't know why the union agrees to do this, but like the player and the team have a meeting and partly the team tells them how bad they are. Right. You're not that guy. Here's statistics that show you're not him. And they're like, we actually are him. And then they find a number in the middle and I'm like, this is terrible. But Derek Jeter was so hurt like when they did that with him. He's like, oh my God, like, why would we even do this? It's a terrible idea.
And Derek Jeter didn't have to put out, shout out to Alfred Butterfly. Derek Jeter didn't have to put 300 gigabytes of. Somebody gonna have to tell the truth. He had to put 300 gigabytes for your head top.
They might tell a dude, hey, you didn't do X, Y, and Z. Look, like you used to do X, now you're doing half of X. Like, we got to account for. We could talk about that. Like Lucian Grange or whoever his executive is, they'll tell you that. But an actual action that would keep you from. Now, you said the industry has changed and we are not getting the same budgets that we used to. But so that's not a manipulation. That is a contraction of the industry. Right. And Drake is dealing with being part of the historical moment when the industry is contracting. You benefited when the industry was still growing and burgeoning, and now you're suffering when they are contracting. Fine. But there's no purposeful Lucian or somebody going, you know what? Fuck that little nigger. And I say it with the heart, right? Lucian be like, fuck that nigger.
Oh, shit.
I did not expect that. I did not.
That's what he would say. Lucian can't be like, fuck that nigga.
He summoned the spirit of Lucian on that one.
That was crazy.
Bro, said to my ops, fuck that nigga, fuck you, ops.
I felt so insulted right now. That shit, I was like, yo.
DIY, just a good reminder to hit that like button in case someone got a channel after this. It was real. It was real.
Like 2 hours in, we can't curse now.
All I'm gonna say is, Touré, don't be surprised when I use all the advice that we gave him for my comeback tour when I get my channel back, and I'm like, this is what happened.
I just want to know collaboration where maybe you didn't see it, where one character was just out of focus. That'd be Green, right? Until 10 seconds ago, we're like, Green just out of focus.
It's getting dark and everything is changing over here. Yo, my bad.
Sound like a DMX title.
About to put them LED lights on the second.
Changing over here, my God.
This dude got no lights with his setup. I'm like, you're supposed to be young and knowing what's happening. You got no lights.
Yo,
you don't recognize how unkish that sounds right now.
I'm saying I'm like nice and grateful to my young cousin who's giving me something. I hope he's in the other room, man. Like, I'm gonna fuck that nigga up. Nigga, talking shit on my fucking live stream, man. Fuck that nigga.
Look, I do see a reality where it's like, you do this to me after all that shit talking you do about how you can call in favors of Lucian. You do this shit to me? You think that you bigger than the program? Okay, bet. We still gonna make our money off of you because you're still signed to us. No matter what, we gonna make our money in the different avenues that we do. Which I think there's an argument for. There's other avenues that make a significantly more amount of money off of him. Probably one of the reasons why he was out there touring, even though he didn't look like he wanted to tour. Remember, he said at one point he wanted to take a break because he was having stomach issues.
Getting their money from him.
But any theory that rests on Lucian had X emotion and therefore did Y to Drake, I'm like, no. No.
I just feel like, look, and I'm saying it's based upon seeing how other companies operate. I know we beating over a dead horse, but even when I look at Amazon, Jeff Bezos did things like, if there's a diaper company that is in competition, we want to buy them out. There was a diaper company that was in competition. They said, we don't want to take your money. We're an independent business. We'll do our own. He took on his own department and lost money on a diaper department of Amazon that delivered quicker than that company did and took him out of business. He took that L just to set an example and because he has now money to be made. I'm looking at this and I'm saying, if I can get Drake on a budget moving forward,
but it's not an L. It's not an L. Because he understands if I remove my competition, then we'll make here. So they need to look at a quarter to quarter thing. We don't need to. We can look at a 3-year thing, and over a 3-year thing, when like Rockefeller did the same thing with oil, right? It's.
But you could do the same thing with Drake.
That's what I'm.
He's not getting. Here's what you're not understanding. What we're saying. You're saying, we don't want to stop him from making us money. Let me finish the statement.
But the analogy is not equivalent because Jeff doesn't screw himself. He starts a business that is under profitable, knowing that later it will be profitable. Just as Amazon itself was not profitable at the beginning, and then he doesn't screw his own company, right?
That's not screwing his company either. Is my point.
We're suggesting that Lucian somehow screwed Drake to what? Teach him a lesson or to get
listen.
Him
Yes, but listen.
Not just to teach a lesson, but also to change the type of deal that you'll ultimately do when it's renegotiation time. Because now you come in here with a much more humble offer or humble number based upon where your brand is in comparison.
Exactly. So what we're saying is that he's not screwing yourself. Somehow you're taking it as Lucian's is like, let's end Drake, and now Drake will no longer make money from me. That will never happen. We agree with that with you. It will never happen where Drake cannot make money for you because one, he's signed to your contract. So if he wants to put out music, you're going to make money out of the music. 2, we make money off all of the old music. So if I lessen your value, I'm not lessening your value for how much money you will make from me. I'm lessening your value for how much I have to pay you in a deal. And I will do that all day.
No, because you would be illegal. It would be illegal to do that. It would be
illegal to do what? To lessen people's value? What do you mean? That's not illegal.
The mechanical way you're suggesting would be against what his fiduciary responsibility is. He can't and won't do that. That doesn't have anything.
No, two different things that were conflated. This happens all the time in business, and it happens all the time in the music industry. This is not something new, what we're talking about. This happens all the time. The second part about it, if it being illegal, so what? Illegal shit happens all the time too, but let's not make this illegal. I'm talking about the fact that we don't want to pay you as much as you can prove that you are. So you prove to me that you are worth $4 billion. I'm going to figure out to make it look like you are not worth $4 million. $4 billion. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's all I'm saying.
Do you think that Drake knows exactly how much he brings into UMG?
Yes.
No. He
does not. Guarantee. I guarantee he knows that.
How do you know? How do you guarantee that?
Well, wait. My thing is this. My thing with that is this. Hold on.
I know how much I make.
Because I know we're getting ready to wrap up. But I'll say really quick. Regardless if he knows the amount of money that he is generating in that situation, if he knows, I damn it, lost my point. If he knows that, and trying to get a piece in, if he knows that, I forgot it. Never mind. Go ahead.
If he thinks he makes X, they could tell him he makes less than that. It was explained to me, even for big record artists, that the payment structure feels like your boss gets your paycheck. And your boss opens your paycheck, you don't see it. And he tells you what you've made. And I've talked to huge rappers who were like, we wanted to see the books. And they said no. And they would not let us see the books. So we don't know how much we've actually made. So, I mean, if they wanted to lie to him and tell him, well, you generated this much when it was actually this much, they could do that to try to get him on a lesser deal. But like they're going to actually manipulate his output to try to like, this makes sense.
Here's the point:
he's still generating a ton of money from from this 7 to 10 year old records, right? And
here's
that's
the point
more of their relationship with him.
Yeah, here's a point I wanted to make, and I just remembered it now. What happens when there's certain things that they have agreed upon behind closed doors that you cannot tell the general public because these things are illegal? Things that he was trying to bring up in terms of like the way that they boost records, the way that things are botted. It sounded a lot of times like he was telling on himself, like he knew these things to be factual because he himself may have been involved within that. I'm wondering if those extra features, those extra benefits of being the golden child, if they say, well, let's see how you deal with the public shame when your next album that comes out doesn't have the extra boosted streams that we would pay for and put our extra resources to make it, to ensure that it happens. You're not losing money on that when you would have to pay money to bot those into a certain situation.
No, you are, because if we spend $15,
that's not how it works, Touré. That's not how it works.
Whatever it is, whatever we spend,
but you don't get something out of the money just because you put the money in, and that's why you wouldn't do that. That's the music industry is not. The ROI is not that clear cut. You wouldn't put, just because you put 3,000 into this song and it got 10,000 doesn't mean another 3,000 is going to get you an extra 10,000.
Right, of course, for sure.
So the dollar amount, and I want to put so it can't be looked at as the dollar amount and the money. You would want to spend less and still get more. He's guaranteed to make you money anyways. He went 2 times platinum with 2 projects in 2 years that did not have large promotion. With large promotion, he did 8 and 7 million times platinum. But that's also at the height of streaming, right? Now we're not at the height of streaming, but we're coasting and we make a large sum of our money from the streaming. We're actually getting more cut. Plus, I just want to put out the fact that he does not, even if he doesn't know how much money he's making specifically, his team knows what type of earner he is. They do, because
they know a general tax bracket. Like that,
you don't know. They can come up with a number. They could come up with a number, but I'm saying like the exact number is the discrepancy and why it's so messed up, because there's an exact discrepancy number. But you know what you're earning from what you're producing, so you can come up with a number and bring it to your label and be like, "We did this at least." And if they're,
I forget a famous rapper who everybody knows told me the label owes me between $5 and $10 million. And he said this as if like, I'm not getting it. And we have made effort and they're not giving it to me. And my first point was like, you don't know if it's 5 or 10 or where in between there. Like, because
That's
that
a
is
huge gap, right?
strange.
That sounds like, first of all, rappers are liars. And first of all, 90% of people in the music business don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And so what do you mean they owe me between 5? Do an audit and then come holler at me about what you're talking about.
That's just it. That's just it.
I'm just saying, like, based upon the math that I did the other time with ChatGPT, I should be between like 5 mil and 10 mil.
I want to see the books. I can't see the books. I can't see the accounting. All right, this has been wonderful. I think we have.
Thank you. Hold on. Can I give y'all a round of applause and proper thank yous? Proper thank yous. I genuinely enjoy when I get the invitation to go on the Rap Latte podcast because I get to get there. I'd be watching anyways as somebody who enjoys their content. Make sure you subscribe. It is always an honor to talk hip hop with y'all, to talk, L's and hip hop today. This was an absolute pleasure. Is there any final words or things that you want the people to know about?
I think just Rap Latte, subscribe to the Rap Latte.
Yeah, and fuck Drake.
No. Hold on. Did we have a hip hop conversation today if we were talking about Drake?
We did. No,
Touré, did we have a hip hop conversation? I don't think it was a hip hop conversation.
Not the webcam leaving with you. We did because we all love this culture, hip hop, and we had conversations that you don't typically have if you don't. I just say this: shout out to the judge. I never said that before. Shout out to the judge.
Shout out
because
to
the judge seemed to be knowing more about hip hop than a lot of these folks who are like.
She good. Her
screaming
son helped her out a lot.
They say they study rap battles for a living. She for sure studied over the last 10 months, and she nailed it.
She knows what's good. All right, my camera's bugging out.
Bugging out.
Good.
All right,
let's make it easy. All right, I'm gonna stay around. I'm gonna read some of these super chats. I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, Joe.
One more time, round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Round of applause. You know I ain't gonna forget about you. To make sure I acknowledge all of these super chats. I couldn't miss out on the opportunity. Look, I told you I've been on the Canadian light bright strike since July 5th, when he did the first Iceman episode, Pinocchio, whatever that was. Divine Eternally says, ever since I saw the video footage of Tupac, that name just continues to ring bells. Getting jiggy at his adolescent-ish party, I realize he's never been like us. Poor little ting ting. How can I hear this in your voice even though I've never heard your voice? I love when people write like that. Michelle King said, thank you for the super chat. Touré, you're exactly right. Where is his team? Who is behind him? Who did not talk him out of releasing the abs pick? It's been so many things that have happened that you're literally reminded me of things that I've tried to forget about. It's been so much that have gone on. That's why we said no more Canadian light bright content. But now that that case is over, it's up. Leonardo Thomas said, but I'm upset came way before the story of Adidon. Oh, is that right? Interesting. I don't know too much Drake lore. I thank you for the super chat. Tallulah said, Curtis, do you remember when I told you that as a legal professional of 26 years, Tupac's filings were some of the Yes, I do remember you. I do remember you said they were some of the most poorly written complaints I have ever seen. I knew the case would be tossed. I think this also would, like, you've done this for 26 years, so you know this firsthand as a professional yourself. I feel like the idea of professionalism has shifted for some good and some negative. And when I see the way that some of these documents are written, I was like, is this written for us as the population? Are they submitting this off to a judge? Because it seemed like they were trying to win Twitter and not an actual lawsuit. Thank you so much for that super chat. Lakita said, I can't believe I'm in here with Touré, a man I grew up watching. Lakita, I ain't gonna hold you. It's the same thing I'll be saying. Like, be damn near pinching myself at times. I'm like, this is crazy. I grew up watching him as well. Always an honor. Always an honor. But thank you for that super chat. And thank you for being here. Purple Rains Girl said, Prince sold out the O2 Arena 21 nights straight in 2007. That's also an independent Prince. You better put some respect on independent Prince. Huh? I bet Beyonce could have done that today. Touré, I just doubt that Drake could do that. Maybe I'm wrong. I think he's getting a dose of reality now of what it looks like when you don't have those extra perks from the label that is willing to put their neck on the line. I just think that it was a dangerous thing to make this whole thing public, right? I don't know how much they could have done this behind closed doors and negotiated this, but I think it was dangerous when it's like you're trying to make an example out of us. And as a company, I'm sure that they've done some things that we're not supposed to ever know about, because the music industry is all the record business. Excuse me, it's a difference. The record business is all about the optics. It's all about making sure that someone looks like they're dominating a whole lot more than what reality says, especially if there's someone who are actually profiting for them. They need to make sure that that brand extends as long as it can, even if it means being artificially extended, as long as you can find profitable ways to make money up off of them. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of those perks got cut off in the process. 40 records is ridiculous. And I almost forgot about the 300 gigabytes for your head top. It's insane. Tatted Reaper is, he studies L's in court for a living. Good gosh. Thank you so much for that super chat. 60 plus love of music. Oh, happy day. Hashtag RR. I know that's right. Tatted Reaper is said, I mean, Kendrick did say he a master manipulator and habitual liar. I am genuinely in amazement. I be looking like, I don't know how somebody I don't have that much self-control. You know how many people would have heard from me? How many podcasts would have heard from me? You know what I'm saying? That's how you know you got a great team around him and he's got a great demeanor about it. You couldn't shut me up. You see what I did to Drake? See that you hear that song I made? Yeah, I made that song in like 3 minutes. Shit crazy. I had other songs. I got 10. You want to hear the 10 I did? I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus. If you want to see that, you want to see it, I got them. Come on in. Come listen to them. Them shits would have for sure got leaked. But that is a lot of self-control and a lot of unbotheredness being displayed. Thank you for the super chat. Mrs. Spicer says, Drake said with his own mouth that we may not be ready to accept who he is. He would ready to accept who he would choose as a partner. I believe him. Or who he would choose as a partner. Yeah, I did catch some of that. Matt Hemming, thank you for the super chat. 5 in the morning, I'll be hating on Drake. 10 in the evening, I'll be hating on Drake. Back in 2010, I was hating on Drake, but no one hates Drake as much as Drake. That was a beautiful poem that you wrote there. Thank you so much, Matt Hemming. Young Chief says, remember the Bruce Leroy got the glow in The Last Dragon and Shownuff's red hand started short-circuiting? Superman. It's a new one. Superpowers got neutralized for real. Yeah, he for sure got that Bruce Leroy glow. Shout out to you. Thank you for that super chat. Bay in Sopo says judges these days are from Hip Hop Nation. What procedure did Judge Vargas fail at to warrant an appeal? I don't know if that's so much her failing. I don't know the legal, I don't know the steps that requires, but I don't know if that's her failing anything. I think she made a really great case for anybody who takes this as an appeal to reference those 38 pages. Them 38 pages might as well be Meet the Grands Part 2. Those might as well be Meet the Grands Part 2. Any judge that sees this will be like, you're appealing this? The hell's wrong with you? Thank you for the super chat. Leonardo says his future was predicted when YouTube users can multi-window the part 6 for free. The funniest shit to this day. I have never heard somebody ever that loud and trying to convince me that they didn't get punched in the face. I've never heard nobody ever get punched in the face like that. I've never seen nobody get punched in the face like that and then try to make everybody believe I didn't get punched. His hand slipped. His hand slipped in my eye. Like I kind of tripped and I tripped into his, forget about that. I got 300 gigabytes for y'all to pay attention to. Insane. Oh, I forgot. Yes, you're right. FBI, open up! I can finally retire that. That was a question I had. Maybe we can ask some of our legal professionals. I thought when you dismiss the case with prejudice, doesn't it kind of prevent people from appealing? I have no idea about that. I did see that terminology dismissed with prejudice. I did see that, but I don't know how that works out. But all I know is she laid everything out pretty clearly, to the point where I don't know how you could be Drake yourself and look at that and say, that judge is a bot, man. That judge is a bot, bro. That judge is a bot, bro. She's a bot. She's a bot. She just doesn't get it, man. I study rap battles for a living. I don't know how you look at that with a sober eye, a sober mind, and say, like, come on now. Nah, keep it. Leonardo, I hope to never have to read through legal documents like that ever again. I hope to never see the word hyperbolic ever again, because the way that they was kicking my ass in them legal documents, I have a hip hop channel. This is not court TV. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not A&E, First 48. This is not what this is. As a celebration, Kendrick should release the 18-minute Euphoria.
Somebody's gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
There's a part of me that's like, I would love to hear it, but then there's a part of me that's like, nah, don't even ruin it. Don't even ruin it. Just keep doing what you're doing, because what you've been doing is it. I would never have predicted that over this last year, after this battle and all the slander and all the dirt that they was throwing at Kendrick Lamar's brand, at his family, at his business partners, at anybody associated, like to the point where he took a picture with somebody and then that person just happened to be a fan of his music, ends up on one of these like YouTube predator shows. They were like, look, he knows him. So everybody he's ever took a picture with, he's responsible for whatever happens to them. Well, if you're going to play that game with Kendrick, go play that game with Drake as well. Insane the amount, but the whole time he chose to just be like this. I never would have predicted that silence would have been as golden as it was. I've never seen, like I've seen it in The Art of War. I've seen it in First 48, the 48 Laws of Power. I've heard it said, but he's literally been having Drake argue with himself over the last year. He's had the fan base. Yeah, they're arguing with fans of his and the stand wars that occur, but he himself has been fighting his own narrative that he's created. Meanwhile, this other guy has just been minding his business. And then when it's time to show up with music, he has new music. Even in the interview before he had two interviews. I think one with, what's the guy's name? Timothy, the actor. He had the GNX, and then he had the one with Ebro and Nadessa. Like, I've learned a valuable lesson. That's the wisdom that God gave you. If you can have silence, that's golden. Fire can't exist without oxygen. Okay, now y'all cooking. Now y'all cooking. It said Kendrick knows Exodus 14:14. See, look. I need to go do some brushing up. I need to do some brushing up. As he proceeded to take remnants of a dead carcass that he got from a battle and toured the world. Don't you make no song about me. Don't you make no song about me and read me so well that it makes people have a real conversation about my character. And then don't you take that said song and go viral with it. Don't you go viral with it multiple times and chart with it, but don't you dare take that on tour in all parts of the world as they celebrate this song that makes me feel so naked. Can you imagine? Can you imagine a song that has you, it read you like a book? Got all your damn insecurities out there being took on tour and put in a medley of other songs. Hey dog, you win. Can I get Kendrick on the phone? If I was Drake, I'd be copping a plea. All right, dog. Like, okay. All right. We both said some things. Can we stop this? Can we stop this? Whatever you want me to say, I'll say it. Okay, I'll bit off a little bit more than I could chew. Okay, you made some point. You made some valid points. I shouldn't have said that shit, but I'm sorry. Just made to algorithm NWA FDP regarding light bright case dismissed. Feels so right. Oh my god, I'd have caught the plea. D. Perry says with prejudice means he can't refile the dismissed complaint at the trial court level. He can appeal to appellate level, but they might reject it. I don't see how anybody says, "Oh, hold on, we've got new evidence here." We got new evidence here. Here's a question I want to pose to you. Thank you for the super chats too, by the way. Look at me now. Look, at least now we know Drake missed, and that was advice regarding not putting this lawsuit in motion. Yeah, great point. Great point. Let me ask you this question. Have appellate? Is that what it is? Appellate? Okay, there it is. I ain't never had to read that before. After a year of Port Antonio, do any of you feel differently about that song a year later? Have you listened to it? Have you now listened to it with a more sober ear? Especially in the midst of that, I think a lot of us were looking for blood. We're looking for blood. We're looking for blood. Not y'all phonetically spelling it. I missed it. It's done. I failed it. I failed it. Nope. I'll be real with you. I feel a little differently about the song. I feel a little bit differently. It makes a little more sense. I got a fresh perspective on it. I was listening to it the other day when I was walking. I took a walk in the morning. I was like, the tone sounds like somebody who genuinely values their peace. And it made a lot of sense up until the last verse. That's the part where I felt like maybe the fall off will give us a little bit more context. How does the song make sense? Riatha, the way that I saw it, when I listened to the first part of it, is that he was talking about the foundation of his character and where he's from and how he came up and how he saw things, how he became the J. Cole that we know of today. He fast forwards the story, gives you different perspective on his point of view of the battle. He talks about how he's kind of stuck right there in the middle of that situation, and he's seeing two of his peers that he respects highly going at it, and he feels like he's got blood on his hands because he, of his involvement in that situation. The part that I think still confuses me to this day is why the encouragement, we're talking about Port Antonio, is why the encouragement was only given to Drake in that situation. And there wasn't a part in that verse that was directed to Kendrick and saying like dog, like you did the thing that you said you did. You stood on that thing that you said you always was, the greatest rapper alive. You know what? I gotta tip my hat to you. Instead, we got if I would have got involved, I wouldn't have lost a rap battle. I would have lost a friend. It's like that sounds almost like you wish you could have still showcased something. It's just that the optics on it looked a little crazy. Still a year later, I feel that same way. He was rapping his ass off on it. I'll tell you that all throughout that whole thing, but we knew that already. And then also too, there was the narrative of, well, you threw your punches already in that 7-minute drill song. And then before he could respond, there was an apology. So it just, the timing of it was probably poor. But I listened to it. I don't feel the same way I felt when I first heard it. I'm not saying that it's better. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying that I see it now from a different perspective. It's just at that time, That was terrible timing. That was terrible timing because a lot of folks were it was still very fresh in the minds of people. Music videos were dropping. At this point, GNX hadn't dropped yet. It was a very, 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 very chaotic time in hip hop. But I still agree with Rob Markman. He still came out second in the big three after all of this. He still came out second in the big three. Because if you try to convince me the guy that lost a lawsuit, lost that battle, lost public favor, and continues to, it's not over yet. It's still happening. That lawsuit, that's the last one. That's the last one for you right there. That's that right there. What do you do after that? All right, ladies and gentlemen, the fall off will be fire though. I expect fire from that project. I really do. I like that he did what everybody seems to be suggesting to Drake, in that he took space away. He took time. He's giving people time to miss him. And it's not just that he took the time away. He started doing things for his day one fans. I think he had the $1 show that he did for his day one fans. Like he focused in on the people who don't have these funny nicknames that y'all have for him. He focused on the people who are like, dog, like, man, get away from that situation. Let's focus in on the music that you got for us. And he fed them. He fed them with an even release. He had a blog. I want to say there was like a limited run podcast that he did, breaking down some of his classic records. He did what a lot of folks have been suggesting to Drake. Get back to the basics. Take a break. Give people time to miss you. So if it's not the best rapper alive, what is there for Cole? So if it's not the best rapper alive, what is there for Cole? There's a lot of things you could. At this point, I wonder if that's even a goal. I think at this point, he's already established his legacy, right? However you feel about J. Cole, you probably felt that way in some shape or form years before, right? You've already pretty much made your decision on him. I don't think there's anybody who has followed his entire career and is now deciding, I'm still on the fence about J. Cole. You've already made your decision. Like, his legacy is already cemented, in my opinion. He is one of the greatest to do it, especially one of the greatest from this era. But he, by all means, deserved to be in that top 3 conversation. Now, in terms of all of the bravado and shit talking that a lot of rappers do, he did have an opportunity to get out there and show how different from his peers that he was. But I think this battle met him at a time in his life, in his career, where he has other priorities, where he has other things that he wants to achieve. Namely, one of those was playing professional basketball, which he went and did overseas, right? I think at this point, if you know that your legend, your legacy is already cemented, at this point, it's about landing this plane and doing it on your terms. He's already done documentaries. He's shown you where he's come from. He's been very, very transparent about his story. He's shown that he could bring other artists like JID up to the forefront. He could work with these artists and make them staples in this generation of hip hop. He's shown you that. Now I think the fall off is an opportunity to just say, this is where I'm at in life. And this is how I want to land this particular career. And this is where I'm heading to next. So I don't think best rapper alive. Like, I think there's some people who felt that he's been the best rapper alive. They're diehard J. Cole fans, and you can't tell them no different. He could have lost a battle and they still feel that same way. How do I know that? Because they exist for Drake right now. No matter how many L's he takes, you can't convince these people he ain't been winning and doing nothing but winning. There are people who still have an argument in their head, brain this small, that he won the battle. after everything that's happened. You can't tell them no different. I think the fact that J. Cole didn't do that is why we got lines at J. Cole and whacked out murals, and why we got lines. Oh, I think the fact that J. Cole didn't do that is why we got lines at Cole and whacked out murals. Yeah, that was a different type of energy. It sounded like he was offering encouragement to the other guy, but he wasn't demanding accountability. He wasn't like saying, dog, what the hell was you thinking when you said rapping like you trying to free the slaves? That's wild. What are you doing? It was just like, oh man, you took an L. Hey man, don't worry about that. You know, return back to your passion and remind these people why you are you, Drake. But it just seemed a little bit one-sided in terms of the way that he was offering up that encouragement. And who the hell knows what those politics are behind closed doors? We don't know. And maybe we'll hear a little bit about what that looks like. But this is what keeps us having these conversations. Here goes another one here. Thank you for the super chat. Pla Turner says, I believe that Cole carried some type of jealousy or resentment towards Kendrick. Something happened along the way between those two. I'm not going to speak on Cole. I don't know, but I know that he's had the conversations on that Yachty podcast in which he had normal human, like, I think jealousy is a normal human emotion. Now, how far on the spectrum of jealousy you live, how much of it's embedded into your personality, how much of it shows in your actions, that's another conversation. But I would argue there's a shit ton of talented rappers right now, lyricists, who have already cemented their own legacy, who are finding the last year of success very hard to digest as they're watching Kendrick Lamar. And it's sick to watch. It's sick to watch. Maybe it's different from me because he is a representative from my coast. Maybe it's different from me because I saw what that looked like from the humble beginnings and when I was working with Ab Soul, and I had an opportunity to go in there and work behind the scenes with TDE early on. Maybe there's a different type of perspective that I've seen because I saw he worked his ass off. It continues to do that. But I see a lot of these artists out here that I would think would be championing a lyricist doing what he's doing. And all I hear is just like weird ass pessimistic points of views. And then that's when it dawned on me, and somebody said it in here as well, but that's when it dawned on me. A lot of them, I feel like they would rather their career mirror that of what it appears to be for Drake than it appears to be for Kendrick. I think for some of those artists, Drake is the obvious answer because he played the game, the traditional game. He went and he made all of these pop songs. He became a likable character. He set the example for how do you play this and try to keep things squeaky clean, whatever. I think for Kendrick, he showed and exposed a route that would work. Sticking to your morals, sticking to your code, sticking to your foundation. Kendrick didn't become less of the lyricist that he was in the earlier years. He evolved it. Matter of fact, he released albums that continued to evolve themselves every single time. One album doesn't sound exactly like the other album. To Pimp a Butterfly does not sound like Good Kid, Mad City. We have yet to get another Good Kid, Mad City with all those skits in comparison to a Damn album. Damn album didn't sound like GNX. There's a common thread with him being at the center of it, but we get different perspectives. And I think there's a lot of artists that look at that and say, shit, you mean I could have stuck to my guns and not played the industry game and there was a route for me? Why does he get to do that? He don't got to be on social media? Why does he get to do that? I'm not making no excuses for them, but I'm saying I could understand where there could be some animosity from a lot of these rappers out here towards a Kendrick because he did it his own way. And he's being celebrated for it. And there's some lyricists out here who don't feel like he's a true to form lyricist because he doesn't exhibit the same techniques that they do. But truth be told, he's in that position, no matter how you feel about that. And he's representing the culture so damn well. So I've learned that from talking to these perspectives and being surprised. Like, what do you mean you're not proud to see a lyricist in this position? Then I realized it is somewhat deeper than just jealousy. Jealousy plays a role. But I think there's a part of him that's like, damn, I didn't have to sell out the way that I did. Because some of them sold out and didn't achieve a fraction of the success that he's had over this last year. He went his own route, did the art that he wanted to do, did it on a large scale, got the support, got the machine behind it, and look at what it's doing. So, and that's not to say that jealousy doesn't exist for some of them. I'm just saying, I feel like I can speak from that perspective as someone who's been around rappers. I'm a rapper myself. I'm a producer myself. I've been around rappers for damn near half of my life. And I see these conversations behind closed doors. I've had these heart-to-hearts when shit gets real dark. And I understand some of the points of views, even from my own self. But what allows me to look at this situation and be like, dog, somebody who gives a shit about this art form, who is doing it at the highest level that he knows how, is killing it right now. And there's a lot of positives that can come from that as a byproduct. I'm proud. I'm supremely proud. I'm supremely proud. That's exactly what I'm saying, Curtis. This hate on who on top is tricky and unnecessary. But that comes with the territory. That comes with the territory. Jim says, are you inspired or envious? Says a lot about people, but you can use both in a positive way. I think that comes down to the individual, right? That comes to the individual. And I think some people have gotten their ass kicked so badly by this industry. And I don't say that in any kind of like pointing fingers and talking shit about them. I think that they've gotten their ass handed to them in such a disrespectful way that they have not themselves, and I'm not making no excuses, they have not healed from that ass whooping. Their mental health, that's not a conversation we can even have right now. They're so far gone by what this industry has done to them, or how they have discarded them or forgotten about them and moved on from them, that they can't live in a place of being inspired until they heal that themselves. I noticed there's a lot of that energy that might have existed in me at one time about my peers as an artist, where I was looking at other artists and I'm like, man, why is that look not there for me? I'm good at what I do. I'm easy to work with. Why don't these opportunities come to me? You know what humbled me? I went on tour with my OG Murs. Went to 50 cities, 25 states. And when we went to Texas, Murs, he's a legendary West Coast rapper. He's a entrepreneur who started one of the biggest hip hop festivals and paid dues. He brought me to the side and he said, let me talk to you. I don't know what possessed him. I say it's God. Possessed him to talk to me and said, I see you looking at your peers. And I see you possibly even like thinking like, damn, why is that not happening for me? He said, here's the reality of it. You don't know their situations. You don't know their deals. And you don't know how many people got hands in their pockets right now. What you might be envious of, or what you might be jealous of, or what you might want for yourself, you don't want. And you'd have no idea until you're sitting into their shoes. So the best bet that you have is to write the best story that is intended for you. And in a moment, I just took them words. I remember I went in the van and we went to the next location and I just broke down. Because so much about so much about the competitive nature of hip hop and how we appear to each other as peers, as artists, is we see everybody in their highlights. Social media is nothing but people's highlights in general in life. You're seeing your peers get nothing but their accolades. You're getting your accolades, but then these accolades look even crazier than yours. He said, just write your story. Because if you were in that position, you'd have no idea the amount of stress that it takes for them to hold the seat that they have. That's all I had to hear. So I don't get into the conversation about being jealous. A lot of people, because of my hip hop opinions, try to use my rap career against me as if that's something to be embarrassed about. I've toured. I've made every single sound and album that I could ever think of. I've worked with Kendrick Lamar as an artist. I've worked with Hit Boy as an artist. I've worked with Ab Soul. I've worked with some of the best of the best. I've had Mick Jenkins here. I've had conversations with Tech Nine. I've been to the Strange Music. None of that was promised to me when I started making music in my grandmother's basement. How dare me look at anything that I do as a failure when I'm still able to do it today at 40 anytime that I want? Making content is beautiful. I love talking hip hop because that's what I would do anyways. But it's kind of like a 9 to 5 for me now. And it helps to support whatever creative ideas I want to do within my music and whatever goals that I have. One of those is retiring my mama for sure. But I get to do things a lot of independent artists are not able to do. So I don't find myself being jealous of nobody. I'm like, dog, I got to write my own story. But if not getting that advice from Murs, who knows? I could have been like one of these jealous niggas out here. But I don't want nobody else's blessings if I don't know what curses come along with that. Yikes. Just something to think about. So please stop saying Lupe's name for you summon that nigga into there. You stop it. Stop summoning. Don't stop saying his name. He might have like AI Google alerts. Stop summoning this nigga Lupe name for he's spawning here. And y'all cause an issue. I gotta live here. Craig. Why y'all getting into it with him? I gotta live here. Stop saying this nigga name. Stop summoning him into here. Let's keep the main thing the main thing. Lord. Because y'all know that's true. You know that's true. He had me in here stressed out for 2 hours. I ain't had no AC in the room. That's something else too. I am blessed to say I had a 2-hour disagreement with Lupe on live stream as y'all was watching in a room with no AC. What you mean you arguing? I told the homie, what you mean you was arguing with Lupe? I don't know, man. It just happened like that. But I'm stop summoning his name. Lupe, if you appear here, we mean no disrespect. Wish you all the best. Summoning Fonte. You know what? I got no problem with that. I would love to interview Lil Brother. The night was legendary. Yes, it was. We didn't have Tiffany Haddish randomly pop up here in these live streams. Like, what is my life? What is this? 3 weeks ago, I was talking to Lumi D. What is my life? You think I'm complaining? This shit tight as hell. I get to stop this, which I'm going to do. Hopefully this cold that I've been getting is not going to take over. I get to stop doing what I'm doing right now and go work on some music. Whatever kind of music I want to make. I mean, let's Punch, TDE president, sat down in our living room and we had a conversation about the biggest battle in hip hop history. What am I complaining about? You'll never see no jealousy or envy coming out of me because I know this is a special opportunity to be able to do the things that I do, even if I don't really have a blueprint. I don't have a blueprint for what this is supposed to look like. But I do know that Punch told me, he said, no matter what you do, Curtis, don't stop doing the things that you do outside of this. He said, do your stuff with your content, do all of this, but keep making music. And I appreciated those words because that's what truly fills me up. What makes me the happiest is making music, producing and writing music. I love making music. Love talking about it, but I love making music more. But I do appreciate all the synergy and all the energy in here and all the points of views in here. I'm not complaining. I am not complaining. But I also didn't lose no lawsuit, so There it goes. The blueprint is whatever you want to make it to be. It'd be hard sometimes though, Afro Butterfly, because I'll be like, what do I do next? Some of this shit be happening. I'll be like, what do I do next now? That shit work. What do I do next? But I'll figure it out. I appreciate you. Appreciate you. Being motivated to collaborate more than compete will give us the strength to make real progress. How easy, shout out to my dog Dama Dozen, how easy is it to make art? How easy is it to make art when you don't need to make art to compete with anybody? I don't need to make art to like I don't have to make art as a job. And it still is in a position to where it can generate income for me. And I'm making whatever music I want to make. And I can promote it at times to the audience that comes here for the stories, whatever the case may be. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm working with the people I want to work with. Not the people that a label tells me who I can work with. I work with who I want to work with. No complaints out of me. So if you support this channel, know that you are ultimately supporting not only a gentleman like myself taking care of my family and trying to retire my mama, but you're also supporting somebody who loves this art form firsthand as a producer, as an artist myself. You're also supporting the channel as somebody that wants to continue this autonomy. But it does not happen without the good support of y'all folks. So I appreciate all of y'all who continue to support this channel. Whether you agree or disagree with the points, we're here for a reason, and I'm grateful that y'all are here. That being said, thank y'all so much. One more round of applause for y'all, all the super chatters and all that. We call ourselves DIYers because we are do-it-yourselfers. The lens you create from is always why I respect you, bro. Abundance, not scarcity. No desperate plays. Epiphany, you said a word. I'm going to end on this note. The lens you create from is always why I respect you, bro. Abundance, not scarcity. No desperate plays. It is one of the worst feelings as a creative when you work with people or you do things only for the money. Damn near feel like a prostitute for your art. It is, it sometimes is even like soul wrenching to compromise that art so that you can do the things that will make you more popular, do the things and not make artistic based, music based decisions. That's why I'm not complaining. Nobody has a hand in my music. Nobody tells me what I can or can't create. I'm coachable, but nobody tells me what I can or can't create. Nobody tells me when I can release my music. Nobody tells me when I said I want to take my music off of streaming. Nobody can stop that. That autonomy is everything. And I still got my soul. Yep, there you go, X. I still got my soul. I don't play with that. I don't play with that. So no complaints. And I get to talk hip hop with a lot of these, a lot of amazing independent artists, but then also a lot of DIYers, a lot of music listeners. And I'm doing shows from my home. Are you kidding me? I'm doing shows from my home in a struggling economy. No complaints. I recognize the time period we're living in. And so, yeah, we got to make sure we speak in abundance and not scarcity. The decisions you make when you are making music and you are broke are the worst ones you will ever make. You hear me?
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
The decisions you make when you are broke and you need money, the decisions you make with your music, the deals that you be willing to sign, the yeses that you be willing to give are some of the worst that you'll ever give. Be careful out here. Be careful out here. There's a lot of things you'll say no to if your money was right. DIYers is all I got for you. Thank you so much for supporting this channel. I'll come back to you with some timestamps here soon. I got new content jumping off tomorrow. I'll holla at you. Thank you so much for supporting this channel. DIYers, peace out. DIYers, if you enjoyed this content, make sure that you hit the like button and maybe even consider subscribing. Come on, man. Stop being greedy. Peace.